Yo. It's Grapsody with Will, Phil, and Reg, trying to keep it real instead of what you usually get from these talking heads. It's Grapsody, we're here to fill the void. 3 black fans, different perspective, got to fill your voice. Coming with the podcast, talking majors, indies in between. Yeah, it's all that, and we're down with Fightful, better fall back. Coming for respect, we connect like a ball bat. No need to double check, these are all facts. You're listening to us talk raps. You're listening to us talk raps. Will, Phil, and Reg. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps.
Yo, welcome. This is Grapsody. I'm Phil Lindsey. Of course, I'm here with Righteous Reg. What's going on?
Your favorite rapper, your favorite writer, your favorite podcaster. It's Righteous Reg. It's Media Man. It's Saturday morning. Very excited to be here. I feel like we were just here for some reason talking about wrestling on this podcast. I was like thinking this morning, like, what are we going to talk about? I feel like we talked about everything already this week, but there were some developments. So we do have some things, but welcome to Grapsody. It's your boys. Excited to be here. How are you, Philip Lindsey, on this beautiful Saturday morning?
I'm rushing around. Denise called me like very early in this morning. I was like, hey, did you watch this New Japan show? I was like, I was there. She was like, you want to talk about it for a brief second on Busted Open? I was like, okay.
Let's
and
go.
So ended up doing that before I hopped on here. Yeah.
Busy, mixy.
Yeah.
Out in the Chicago streets last night, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna probably rush out of here after we record as well because I got other stuff to do. Also, trying to plan some stuff for next week. Just busy, just running.
Yeah, I have a busy time after this too, getting ready for Vegas next week. So I'm like, got to get this podcast good and ready so we could continue the journey. Your boys are going to be out in very hot and sunny Las Vegas, Nevada next week, hoping to see a lot of the homies, and I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, very excited about Las Vegas. WrestleCon weekend, as Speedball called it.
Yeah, shout out to WrestleCon weekend is what we're calling it. The homies at West Coast Pro, Prestige, and Deadlock Pro are going to be doing their thing. Very excited to see a lot of that wrestling over there. Should be exciting. We could avoid some. It doesn't have to be all WWE. There's so many events going on, like a ridiculous amount of them. So it's going to be a good time, and we're going to see some friends, and we're going to dance. I don't know. Are you dancing, Phil? Are you a dancer?
Are we dancing?
Not trying to go out? Not trying to go out to the club?
Where are we dancing at? I'm confused.
I just found us a spot imaginary in my brain. So that's where we are.
All right. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Was outside last night to see a few listeners of the pod.
Oh, let's go.
Saw people, friends, saw Smiley, saw a bunch of people.
Very exciting.
Yeah. Saw homie Jeremy from the Keeping It Strong Style podcast.
Oh, let's go.
Homie with
homies.
Rich and yeah, it's cool. Saw Lyric. Saw a lot of people.
How was the C2E2 part of it?
Yeah, still very, very like surreal for me. C2E2 started, I think, in 2010. If people don't know, that's like the biggest Comic-Con in Chicago. It used to be Wizard World. You used to have to go all the way out to Rosemont to go to Wizard World, which I'm now dating myself. That when I first started going to conventions, when I was like a weekly reader, I would go all the way to Rosemont for conventions. I'm just like, why isn't there anything in a city? Why do you got to go all the way out to Rosemont? It's kind of like wrestling at one point. Like, why I got to go all the way out there to see wrestling? Put some wrestling in the city. And so, funny enough, this weekend, wrestling and Comic-Con in the city, McCormick Center, Wintrust, like right there. You can walk from C2E2 to Wintrust to see New Japan Strong,
Mhm.
which that's what I ended up doing. But yeah, C2E2 started in 2010, and I went the first year, and I was like, oh, this is everything I've wanted a convention to be in the city of Chicago.
Wow.
Let's go. And so I had been going for every year for about a good 9 or 10 years.
Mhm.
And so, you know, around the pandemic, I think that was the first time I missed one, was right afterwards. And then, you know, I'm not a weekly reader anymore. So it's like I'm not as tapped in, but I'll still like go for like a day. I used to be like all weekend guy. So
Right.
I just on a whim applied because I knew there would be wrestlers and stuff. And I was like, oh, maybe I can, you know, squeeze some opportunities out of this. And when I got approved, I was like, great. I wasn't expecting when I got the pass in my hand, like, this is fucking wild. Like, me
Yeah.
as a 20-year-old, they used to frequent conventions and like hang around in Artist Alley and all these places and like, you know, cosplay and all these other things. And I'm like, what the hell am I doing here?
Now you're pressed. Now you're one of the people there. That's a good full circle moment, man. Just like really dope to hear. I'm happy for you to have that full circle thing. It's still happening all weekend, and there's more events to get into. Did you talk to any wrestlers yesterday?
I did see Joe Hendry. Very humble, still very nice in person.
Really?
I saw I didn't get a chance to talk to him, but he was sitting next to Rikishi, and hilariously enough, there was a guy cosplaying as Hulk Hogan, like NWO Hulk Hogan, and he was like flexing in front of wrestlers' tables, and so Rikishi was like, nah, it's still fuck the Hulk Hogan over here. I'm still on those fives.
Shout out to Rikishi. That's a nice little transition because yesterday I checked out the WrestleMania 9 special that they put out on Peacock. Very hilarious. There's a very hilarious bit with Terry, of course. Everybody knows at the show WrestleMania 9, Terry shows up with a black eye. So they start to tell the story of like he was late to the show and they were like worried that pretty much for the like 3 months leading into WrestleMania 9, they were worried that this fool wasn't going to show up, but everybody knew he was going to show up because he's Terry. So he shows up at WrestleMania 9 with the black eye. And so he starts telling the story that the day before WrestleMania, him and Brutus Beefcake are on jet skis, and he didn't know that he flipped a button on the jet ski that had the nose down, and when he went into the air, he dipped into the water, and then the jet ski came up and hit him in the eye and then knocked him out cold, and Brutus Beefcake had to drag him out of the water. Brutus Beefcake had just told a story about breaking his face in a water skiing accident previously a few years before. I'm like, so this fool used the exact same kind of water story to tell the story why he has a black eye. So he gets to the show and everybody's like, damn, Macho Man knocked this fool out. Like that immediately is the story. As soon as he shows up, they're like, damn, Macho Man finally got to Hogan. Like it finally happened. And so they show Hogan a video of Scott Steiner being like, I traveled with Macho Man, and he says that's what happened. And Hogan, of course, is like, oh, brother, I can't believe they're running with this story. And so then he goes into the story. But then they show a video of him showing up to the show, and Vince is there, and Vince is like smiling for the camera, but he's mad. He's like, 2 hours before the show, I can't believe you showed up here. And so Vince is like, you can't wrestle because you just showed up 2 hours. You're not going to be able to pass the physical. Your eyes all busted up. Hogan's like, I'm going to be able to pass the physical. This is where the story gets funny. So Hogan tells that whole story of the jet ski thing. He got hit in the eye, whatever, the water ski, whatever. And so he goes, I go into the medical room with the doctor, and I tell the doctor, because I know he's not going to clear me with my black eye. He's like, oh, doc, we're doing this story in wrestling kayfabe. We're going to say on story that Macho Man beat me up last night before the show, and that's why I have this black eye. And I'm like, wait a second, this isn't, why would you say Macho Man wasn't even in this match? He's not a part of it. You should have said like Ted DiBiase or IRS did it. So he's like, yeah, Macho Man knocked me out, and that's why my eyes like this. I'm like, wait, but why would you tell the doctor? And so the doctor clears him. And then when he gets to the match, Macho Man is on commentary. They're like, damn, what's wrong with Hogan's eye? Macho Man goes, he knows who did it. Macho Man says he knows who did it on commentary. I'm like, so Macho Man knocked this fool out, and then
Who
he made up
shot you?
this whole story. Who shot you? Terry is one of the greatest and biggest liars of all time, and I'm happy that Macho Man knocked him out, and I'm so happy that we had this story. Great documentary if you guys haven't seen it. It's amazing.
Bro, Hogan getting his lies mixed up and then actually adding some truth to the lie is fucking hilarious.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, wait, you're adding on to the story?
Hilarious, bro. Yeah, the fact that Brutus, because it was like a sailing thing, right? Like, didn't like the something with the boat come back and hit Brutus in the face.
A woman was doing like the hang gliding thing, and she hit him, like she came in at him with their knees and hit him in the face.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, okay. So that's a different story from the one, of course, like the bad accident he had. That like almost
that's the bad one. She hit him with she came at him with two knees right to his face and destroyed his face. That's the story he told on the documentary.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, no. Hogan immediately jump into his Kale's ad libs because for whatever reason, R. Kelly used to jump on the beginning of songs with these ridiculous ad libs, like Kale's, we on camels, like or something like that. And so I'm just thinking of like him just being up, like, nah, we on jet skis, Hogan. We on jet skis. We
on jet skis. But like when you see his eye, you're like, if a jet ski hit your eye yesterday, you would have been way more destroyed. Eye would have
exploded.
No, you looked like you got punched in the eye, dog. Like, what do you mean? I don't really understand it.
Nah, jet skiing.
We was jet skiing, Vince. Like, what you gonna do about it? Yesterday, when I knew I had this big WrestleMania match, jet skiing.
Chaos. Brutus. We on jet skis.
We on jet skis. Ooh, good documentary. I think it's called Before the something. It's on Peacock. It's a WrestleMania 9 doc. You'll be able to find it if you just turn it on. They advertised it to me as soon as I turned on Peacock. So if you want to see that. Brett's on there. Brett's getting off some. Brett's wild too because his stories keep changing. He's like,
Brett,
oh yeah. He's like, oh yeah, Vince promised me that I was going to be world champion for 6 years. I'm like, Brett, like, why would you? He's all, yeah, before WrestleMania 9, I was expected to be champion for 6 years. I'm like, you believe that? 6 years, Brett? And then like, I'm like, so he lied to you in 1993, and then you believed him when he wasn't going to screw you in 97? And he thought he was your dad and a father figure off after that? Like, I'm confused. Very confusing situation. That guy had mind control over a lot of people. It's crazy.
Yeah, he absolutely did.
It's funny in the documentary. Everybody wants to give it up to him, but they like can't. They have to like be like, and then Vince kind of blah blah blah, but they can't really give it to him. Yeah, it is Rapid Dave. It is becoming a spectacle. That's what it's called.
Yeah. Can't say that, man. He's not there no more.
Right. Can't give it up like that. He's in it, but like not in it. They're trying not to at all. They're like, yeah, and then Vince McMahon, the guy that started all this, but we can't really say anything, was there too. Interesting stuff. They got to change all of history now.
Yeah. You know, we're wrestling fans. We've seen it. Rewrite history, rewrite it back, tell some stories, tell it differently a few years later.
If anyone, them too.
Yeah. That's going to keep happening
forever. At this time, I saw some clip or some people, an Instagram story. Somebody saw Brock Lesnar out, and they asked him if he's going to come back to wrestling, and he said he was retired. And people were sad about it. I'm like, do you guys think that Brock Lesnar is ever? Are there people in the world that think Brock Lesnar is going to come back when they have like this ongoing lawsuit that he is a part of?
Yes, there are people that think that.
There's people that think that still.
Mm-hmm. I don't know why.
He's the guy.
Yeah,
he's named in the lawsuit.
Yeah. Hey, listen, man.
I like F5s too, but not that much. Like, watch Megan Bain do it. She does it pretty good.
Yeah, no. Now they want his F5.
You're not gonna get it.
No, we're not getting it. It's over. It's done.
You ain't gonna get it. Bet you ain't gonna get it. Hope you don't get it.
Yeah. NBA playoffs start.
Yes.
Very soon. Bracket is officially set for the playoffs. Play-in tournament is set. Chicago Bulls eked their way into there somehow.
Okay.
Won a bunch of games down the stretch. They've looked great since All-Star break. They will be playing the Miami Heat. I am confident about our chances against the Miami Heat, Tony P. Very confident about that because Miami is not that great. I'm not so confident if we have to play the Orlando Magic in the next round, though, because we have to play the winner of. Sorry, we have to play the loser of the 7 and 8 seed, and hopefully it's the Hawks. Hopefully Orlando beats them. I feel better about our chances about beating the Hawks, but
it's gonna be a tough run.
But regardless, even if you're winning the chance to get annihilated by the Cleveland Cavaliers, so
right, regardless, like who everybody's playing for that position.
yeah. If you're playing for the eighth seed, you're going to lose. You're going to lose to the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's just what's going to be. And so, cool that the Bulls could end up in the playoffs after retooling and starting a rebuild, but they're going to lose.
Guys get to have a little bit more fun before the season's officially over, though. That's great.
Yeah. But yeah, this is set. Cleveland Cavaliers will get the winner of the play-in tournament. Then 4th and 5th seed Indiana Pacers will be playing the Milwaukee Bucks. New York Knicks will be playing Detroit Pistons. That should be a fun series. Detroit Pistons have made a big come up this year. And the Knicks have been really good with Towns, and hopefully Brunson is 100% by the playoffs. And the Celtics are going to play whoever wins that matchup in the play-in as well. On the West Coast, OKC is going to get whoever comes out of play-in tournament. Then Denver Nuggets, a week removed from firing their head coach Mike Malone and their GM Calvin Booth. Very, very strange situation. We'll be playing the LA Clippers that somehow slid into the 5th spot. That's it's funny because I thought Denver Nuggets could at least make a push to the conference finals, but I'm not so sure. And with Kawhi back and the Clippers where they are, they could easily upset the Nuggets. I would not be shocked.
It's gonna be it's not gonna be as easy as the last couple of years have been for the Nuggets. You know what I mean? Like it's been like kind of a clear path for them in the West Coast in the West Conference for the last couple of years, and this time it ain't like that.
Yes. Also got 3rd and 6th seed matchup. A lot of people won in the first round. Lakers will be playing Golden State Warriors. That should be a fun series. Jimmy Butler over there now. New look Lakers with Luka Doncic. Very curious to see how that series goes, but that should be a fun one.
I feel like those guys might fall apart, but I'm gonna let it play out.
Listen, nothing would be funnier to me than those guys losing in the first round. I think that would be hilarious.
And for the Warriors to do it, it'll just be like, a beautiful song. So
yeah. But then Houston Rockets also. Houston managed to make it up to the 2nd seed with Ime Udoka as their coach. Dylan Brooke, a lot of redemption stories there. Dylan Brooke getting over there after the way things went in Memphis. And, of course, the controversy around Ime Udoka and Boston. And 2nd seed in the Western Conference. That's pretty great for Houston. Young up-and-coming team. Jalen Green is that guy. Big fan of him from that draft. They're going to be playing the result of the play-in tournament as well. So they could be potentially playing Minnesota, Memphis, maybe. I think the matchup I would like to see is Rockets versus Minnesota. I think that would be a fun series.
Yeah, Rockets are in a good position too, I think, on the Western Conference. Strangely enough, DB's been playing some ball, and he's still very aggressive and ready to choke people on sight, pretty much. So that's exciting over here. That's what I like about the Western Conference is there's a lot of dogs like that are just like, it's playoff time, and I'm coming to fight, and I'm coming to win this championship. Very exciting time over here. I'm worried about the Warriors because it's still the same problem. It's like not enough bigs. You know what I mean? Like when it gets down to like gets down to the get down, like they still are a small team. You know,
you're a small team, and then you don't know what you're going to get out of Draymond sometimes. So
exactly.
Yeah, but the good thing about it is the Lakers are also kind of a small team. They don't have a legit center either, so they could easily get past the Lakers. But then, it gets tough,
after
right?
that is the problem.
OKC is still the team to beat in the conference at this point. I'm not a believer. I see a lot of people on these sports shows and channels like, oh, well, do we know OKC is as good? Yes, yeah, we do. Second best record in the league, incredible defense. SGA is that guy. I do think SGA will be MVP. No, I think OKC is the team to beat.
Brother is balling all over the court, doing everything, being like when they look like to the face of the NBA, like the next generation, like this guy's the guy.
Yeah, but yeah, this Denver Nuggets stuff is insane. The thought that these guys are 2 years removed from a championship and they could be one and done already. I thought that they could easily get another championship with that team. Not so sure. And then when your best player is playing at this level, arguably the best player in the league right now, and you're not making
They're saying he could be the MVP too. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
This is the most confusing thing I've ever seen.
You're not making the moves to keep good players around them, and like whatever the tension was with Calvin Booth and Malone, like, man, fire him alone after he brought that franchise its first ever championship with a week left in the season is crazy.
I saw a story that they were like, oh, Mike Malone, when he found out he was fired, was enraged. I was like, no, would you think he was going to be happy? Like, I'm sure he was like, he tore whatever room he was in apart because like, this is crazy. And then they added that as we talked about on Ask Grapsody, that Russ controversy, they try to tack onto it too. And it's like, all right, guys, we're conflating issues now at this point.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't like the Russ stuff that they were trying to do. It seems like the issue here is that ownership wanted Mike Malone to start developing their younger players, like the point guard they just brought in. I mean, Christian Brown, they've developed steadily, but they've wanted him to develop some of the other younger players. And so they wanted, the younger point guard to play more minutes over Westbrook. But now people are turning that into he's got preferential treatment for Russ, and the way that it's worded is so misleading, and people are trying to basically put this on Russ. It's nasty. I don't like it.
And they now Russ has been in trouble because he hasn't went to go talk to the press because of course he doesn't want to because they're full of shit. So it's like, just let these guys play basketball. This ain't the time for all this drama and controversy. Like you said, they could be one and done. They need to focus in on trying to advance in these damn playoffs, and they don't. They have the most controversy they've had in a long time with their coaching staff. This is pretty ridiculous. What you think about all the this week and month and years? Been a lot of Ja Morant talk this week. He developed a new celebration for his thing, and people are very upset about it. Now he's throwing a grenade. Well, what we thought was a grenade into the crowd. He now has said that he's throwing his words into the crowd, and he
great fix, buddy.
Yeah, I was like, all right,
you gotta with that one, John.
No, it's not a grenade. It's my words being thrown.
I value my words. So I'm just get my words out, throwing them. Bro, I don't. John Morant's a funny guy, man. I do think that he's being targeted a little bit here because a bunch of other players do things like blow their finger or something, or do like gun gestures after they hit threes, and because of his track record, people are kind of unfairly targeting him. But the other part is you did this, so you can't be too upset.
Yeah.
But it is, some of this is just like, man, some of it's unfair, but him trying to ramp it up now. Don't do this, dog. It's
Don't do this.
Don't do this.
I mean, I understand when you Google Ja Morant, like gun's gonna be in there. You know what I mean? Like, so I would understand them trying to get away from that if like all your celebrations are that, like, so I get it, but it also feels like now they're ramping it up, and I feel like I understand him too, being like, I'm gonna keep trying to do me, I'm gonna keep trying to be that, but like at some point it has to be over. I just watched this. I guess it's a kind of attached to that. This rant, your homie Isaiah Thomas was ranting on. There was a video of LeBron James practicing before the game. He like had his shirt off and he was just like in like warm-up gear. And he was like, I cannot believe they let LeBron James go out there like that. If I was a coach, I would never in the history. He's like, we need to have more professionalism. Like, I don't like, because LeBron's like in a do-rag, just like shooting around. And like, he was so upset. He's like, we need to get back to professionalism. And it just feels like there's this line where like they want to get back to that, but then there's a new generation that want to like have this new stuff. And NBA's kind of on that line too, where like, they have these new courts that are like digitized and all this. Like they're trying to appeal to the young people, but at the same time, still trying to be on the old guard and like what we used to do. And everybody needs to wear suits to the game and everybody needs to blah, blah, blah. And it's a crazy place they're existing at right now.
Yeah, it was definitely some old head shit. Put a shirt on. What are you doing?
Yeah, bro. Like, what? Relax, guy. I think it's okay. It's LeBron James.
Yeah, pipe down. Like,
but yeah, basketball is getting ramped up. It should be pretty exciting. You guys are going to hear a lot more of this the next couple of weeks.
Super chats. Send us in your super chats. That is the best way to get your chat read on this podcast. You can also send us a Humperchat via humperchats.com/Fightful.
Super chats and Humperchats, best way to support your boys. As always, we appreciate all the support. Appreciate everybody showing up every Saturday to listen to us talk about whatever the hell we're talking about this week, this month, this year. I can't click on the super chats, Phil, so I need you to click on them.
Hold on. All right, here we go.
Our homie Van Twinblade says new Kendrick video, new Sleep Token song, Ice Nine Kills re-released their first album. Chris Jericho said fuck on live TV. Pretty good week.
Yeah, the Jericho segment was definitely something.
I was wondering why it was so late in the show, Phil, and then as it was going on, after it was over, I still was pretty confused about the whole thing, if I'm keeping it real. Listen, not for nothing, I like that song better than Judas. That's probably a controversial take.
Is that controversial? I think Judas got worn out for me.
Yeah,
but at this point, I don't need to ever hear Judas again. I'm good.
Never again. I think that probably plays a huge role on it, because there was at one point where we would go to like a wrestling weekend and we would hear Judas like 5,000 times, and then they'd sing it at the show, and I'd be like, you know what? Cut my ears off. I think I'm good here. What'd you think of the Luther video? You watched it?
I still haven't seen all of it. I've seen clips from it, but it's funny that it's still cool to jump on the internet and see people saying, man, Kendrick dropping. It's like, it don't have that same like impact of Kendrick dropping last year when he was
it was different,
stomping homeboy out, but it's cool.
It's getting kind of annoying how every time something comes out for either one of them, it's like everybody's trying to find the subliminal messaging and break down what part of the beef it's part of now. It's like, it's pretty annoying.
It's too much.
It's too much. Like, I think we've hit every angle at this point, right?
Yes, we definitely have.
People are like, look at this at 13 seconds in the background right there below. I'm like,
stop it.
Can we just let these people exist? Drake is looking sad with his cornrows at the club, just looking.
He's trying to go meet some new basketball friends because he's no longer friends with DeRozan and LeBron. So yeah, SGA and his video for Nokia.
Yeah,
and I mean, I know SGA is from Canada, right? So yeah, he's trying to make him some new basketball friends to follow around. Like, see, he's had to reshuffle his entire life, man. Baby girl.
I watched the homie that be doing the songs, the wrestling themes. Mark, what's his name? The big homie. He be doing the wrestling thing. He did the Triple H song. Time to play the game.
Oh, I know his last name.
I don't know his last name, but he did that song. Baby girl, shit was hilarious.
Baby girl.
Listen, not for nothing. People are like Drake on that side is still Drake. So like,
I mean, well, we knew that. I knew that he was still gonna have records. I knew his fans were still gonna go up for stuff. I'm personally not the biggest fan of the Nokia record, but I knew it was gonna still work.
Yeah, it's like if you take everything out of it and it's just like a Drake released a song, it's a Drake ass song. You know what I mean? Like that's the angle that he would take at this point.
Yeah, it's done what you'd expect. It's turned into like the TikTok clips and like people doing the baby girl on Twitter and people doing the whole beat change. It's Drake.
I hate it here, honestly. Well, everything becomes a sensation. Oh, it's a sensation now. Now they're eating hamburgers while doing. It's like, all right, you guys.
You're not feeling people doing their TikTok videos with them like fanning themselves. Who's calling my phone?
No.
Who's calling my shit? Oh, whoa.
Not feeling it. 0%, man. Everything doesn't have to become a thing.
You're not gonna get on TikTok and just be like doing this. Like, is it Stacy? Is it? Nah, you're not.
I am not. I don't even be on TikTok. That's crazy. Thank you, Blantoon Blade. Appreciate it. Hops88 says, what do you guys make of the picture of The Rock wearing a New Japan Pro Wrestling t-shirt? Any chance of a working relationship between the two? The Rock and New Japan?
No, I think he's trolling. I think this is high key trolling. I don't think it's anything more than that.
Look at his face in the picture, and you know what he's doing here.
Yeah, big trolling.
Like they have a relationship with AEW, so they couldn't because Rock is a member of the board of TKO, isn't he? At this point,
yes, that's the vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this also came the same week of that clip of Sheen Gun Carl Anderson talking about The Rock, and people were getting so upset about this for some reason.
Oh, that's why. Okay. Yeah, that makes even more sense. What did you take of the Carl Anderson stuff? Because it felt like a funny bit to me, but people were very mad about it.
If you know how he talks, if you listen to Talking Shop, then I don't know why you would get upset about this, because this is how they talk on that show. This is how Carl is. So I don't know. People turn it into, what's The Rock? You never know when you're going to meet The Rock again. So you want this guy that's a wrestler that works there to mark out for him like you do as a fan? No, that's not what he's going to do.
Like the first thing they tell you in wrestling school to not do. Like if a big star walks in, you can't be trying to get his picture in the locker room. Like the boys get very upset at that. And so that's pretty much what he was saying. And people were like, what? When would you ever get the opportunity again?
How dare you? The Rock is a legend.
Yes. I don't think that's what he was saying. On top of this is like, it's like also a funny bit too, of like everybody was going up to The Rock, and that was when I knew I had to get out of here. That's hilarious. But people were very mad.
Yeah, people are mad about a lot of things.
The homie Grapple Geekery says, I want to thank Phil for talking about Milestone and Dwayne McDuffie. I've been a huge fan of Static, Icon, and Blood Syndicate ever since their 90s debut. I love and miss Dwayne and his work so much.
Yeah, appreciate it. Dwayne McDuffie is an absolute legend. He tells a very funny story about Halle Berry. If you've never seen it, every time I think about it, it cracks me up. He's a very tall black guy, and I guess he went to a Star Trek premiere or something, and so he's not supposed to be in there. His friend hooked him up with tickets, and so he's in there watching the movie. And this is like early in Halle Berry's career. She's still very young, and she sees him, and she thinks he's Michael Dorn from Star Trek. Michael Dorn played Worf in The Next Generation, and so she thinks that this is Michael Dorn. And so she was like, Michael Dorn, I've always thought you're sexy. He was just looking like, I'm not Michael Dorn. I'm not supposed to be here. Don't draw any attention to me. And so she's just like yelling like Michael Dorn. And he's like trying to ignore her the whole time and act like he doesn't hear her. And she was like, I don't know why you acting like this, Michael. And so the movie started and they're watching it. She was like, you better not be in this movie, Michael Dorn, because I'm going to know that's you. And so, of course, Worf pops up on the screen and she's like, that is you, Michael Dorn. And she's like yelling, the movie's going on. And he's like trying to like not be seen. He's like, I'm not Michael Dorn. So funny, man.
And you also are ignoring Holly Berry, which is like another thing of like, you know what I mean? There's another piece to that of like this beautiful, one of the most beautiful women of all time is yelling at you and you're like, could you stop?
It's so funny, man. I believe he told this story on his blog. I don't know if his blog is still up, but
that's hilarious.
Yeah, Dwayne McDuffie, absolute legend. Of course, the creator of Static. Yeah, this was a funny week of me being excited about Swerve doing a Static cosplay and people on the internet being people on the internet. The one guy that was just like, you're not even a fan of Static like that. I'm like, I'm not a fan. Me?
What did you call him, like Static Shock or something?
Yeah.
You don't even know. How would you do? How could you ever?
That's not even his name. His name is Static. I was like, okay, buddy.
Got you, Phil. Damn, I can't believe it. You're not a fan.
Yeah.
Funny how fast that happens.
Funny going from a time period of not wanting people to know how big of a fan of I am of these things, and then being very openly fanning over something like you don't even like these things. It's like, okay.
What a transition, man. Having to hide in high school what you like to now like people saying you don't really like those things on the level that you do. And you're at C2E2. Again, full circle.
There's a picture of me from C2E2 with like a very loose Static cosplay, like with the Malcolm X hat on and like this logo on my shirt. And I'm like, I'm not a fan. All right. Okay. I'm not a real fan though. I was like, what is happening here?
That's how I felt a lot of times on social media when people are yelling at us. I'm like, all right, you guys, we're just regular dudes here.
Yeah. Appreciate you, Grapple Geekery.
Yep. The homie Leonard Ernst III says, new rule, you can't win MVP if your coach is fired.
What that got to do with Jokic? It ain't his fault they fired the coach.
Yeah, I don't think that shouldn't be his fault. Like, he's balling regardless of who's out there. You know what I mean? Like, he's about to be doing his assist and making all his baskets and leading this team regardless of what happens. I still think it's to be SGA, but like Jokic is definitely in the talks.
Yeah, I think it will be SGA. In terms of stats, like Jokic is doing incredible things. Third player to average a triple-double. And I mean,
and his triple doubles be nasty too. They don't be like barely on the line. He be having like crazy numbers.
Yeah, Westbrook, when he averaged a triple double, he won MVP. So the standard has already been set. I wouldn't be surprised if Jokic wins MVP, but I do think it should be SGA. Yeah. Just for what OKC has achieved this year, OKC would not be nearly as good without him. But yeah,
OKC, he's on that team.
Yeah. But yeah, some of the scuttlebutt about this and him saying that they had already come to him and told him that they were going to fire Malone. They didn't ask him what he think. They told him they were firing him. They didn't ask for his input, nothing. They were like, no, this guy's gone. That's it.
That is, I mean, what is he supposed to do also? Like, he can't be like, hey, no, stop. Like, he doesn't have a choice. Like, hey, you're getting a new coach. All right, cool. I guess I'll see him on Monday.
Yeah, not much he could do, and it seemed like it was just a tense situation between him and ownership. But yeah,
I just want to know why they waited till 5 games before the playoffs when it had happened. Like, because it seems like this was brewing for the whole year. Some people have the idea it felt like at the beginning of the season. So why did they wait so long?
Yeah, the report I saw was that they didn't want winning to mask the issues in the organization. So let's just say, for example, they made it to second round. or they made it to Western Conference and then they fired Malone right afterwards. It would have potentially looked crazier because you had some success in the playoffs, and they didn't want that to be the meter. They didn't want it to be judged off of, okay, we have some success, so why'd you fire him? It's gonna look crazy no matter.
It looks crazy regardless.
Yeah.
No matter when you told them, because now it's still like, well, the playoffs are about to start, then they're not in the worst position. They could still go for a run. Like, I don't really understand, but you know, it's business, it's politics, it's all the things.
Business.
Grapple Geekery also says, is our long international Jericho nightmare finally over? Are Brian and Bill finally free? Will Will and Reg blame me if the learning tree isn't done? Yep.
I hope it's done.
Seems like there's been some a couple of little developments even off the back of that. So they did the thing on Dynamite where they had the learning tree segment. They come out, Jericho says he's disappointed that he lost his championship. You don't know what he wants to do. Big Bill comes out. Big Bill and Brian Keith come out. Big Bill's like, if you're going to berate us, we're out of here. We want good positive reinforcement. Felt like they were going to break up, but they didn't really break up. Chris Jericho like started hitting the Jeritron 5000 or whatever, and then was pretty much like, if you guys are better, we could still get this together. So they kind of left it open-ended, and I didn't really understand what was going on. But then some things started developing because Chris Jericho had talked in some interview about like the door's still open to going back to WWE. And then Meltzer put out a story where he was just like, hey, if you get the opportunity, Chris Jericho, you should do it. And I'm on the side of Meltzer of like, if you get that opportunity, Chris Jericho, probably should take it.
Wouldn't mind seeing him head back over there personally.
You know,
but
that could be fun for him.
Yeah, no. Get out of our hair, man.
Please.
Cool.
Or just they'll take a break, have your little Fozzy run. Like, that should be fun.
Yeah, no. Take your music, go on, head over there. Yeah.
You can reintroduce Judas over there, Phil. You know what I mean? Like, it could be a whole new thing. The WWE universe is gonna love it.
Yeah, they're gonna love it. They're gonna do their little sing-alongs to it now over there. It'll be like a new thing.
Like, damn, I can't believe this is the first time we're ever hearing this song. This is the first time the crowds have ever chanted to a Chris Jericho song.
Yeah, never seen it before.
Never seen it before, brother. But shout out to the homie BK and Big Bill. I think that they have potential. Big Bill has potential to be the best Jericho associate. I think that I think he has a higher ceiling than Sammy at this point, which is kind of
really
crazy. Yeah.
Sammy was a pillar.
Yeah, I know, but where the fuck is he now?
In ROH Neverland.
ROH Purgatory, as they call it.
No.
That was also funny because in Dave's report, he was like, oh, they had essentially made Chris Jericho ROH champion to try to get this TV deal. And so like him not being ROH champion signifies that they're not trying to get the deal anymore. But Phil, I never believed that wasn't ever in my brain that Chris Jericho was ROH champion to get them a TV deal.
No, I didn't buy that. That felt like them stroking his ego.
Yeah,
I don't.
right.
This does not feel like them trying to get him get a TV deal, because if that's the case, why wasn't he on ROH? I don't know. The show that you're trying to get a TV deal, maybe use the guy over there. I don't know.
That's the part that was confusing me every time. I'm like, this guy's never on the show. What do you mean? A TV deal for what? That's not how a TV deal works.
We're trying to get a TV deal by putting him on a show that already has a TV deal.
Yeah.
With the belt. Hey man,
hey,
you like
this guy on TBS?
You like this belt he's carrying around? We got another show. You interested in picking that one up? Or
we got a better deal for this show. Yeah, I was super confused. I was like, that doesn't even make sense though, you guys, because it's not. How's he selling a show that he's not on?
No, yeah, I didn't buy that.
So the whole thing was kind of confusing, but yeah, BK and Big Bill, I think these last couple of weeks have given them more shine than they've had the whole time in the with Jericho. So I think off the tail end of it, they'll become bigger and better stars. So it works out. The Jericho Vortex wasn't the absolute worst for these guys, even though I think they were in there for way too long.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll have to see how this develops.
Verdict is out.
I like Big Bill a lot. I think that they've got potential for him as a singles guy. Man, it just seems like they've got something in him. I've been thinking that for a while. Great battle royal wrestler. Every time they put him in these big battle royals, he looks
Amazing.
great. So yeah, hopefully they do something with him and BK.
Agreed. Just play that theme song that BK has. That's all I'm saying.
I thought you were about to say play that Jericho theme song.
Play that song one time, Phil. Doom, doom, da da doom. Bianca Leia, the homie, says, "Good Saturday, gentlemen. With the D Riders continuing, has TK lost the plot on what fans want? Doubling down on 2 bad pay-per-views ending is borderline crazy."
Yeah. Yeah. That is a good segue into our first topic because we were both sitting on this podcast thinking that Swerve should win this championship. We should just move on from this D Rider stuff. And we're not moving on. We're still going with this Death Rider stuff. This was the most unpopular outcome I've ever seen as an AEW fan. And I've been watching since day one. I've been a fan since All In, the original All In. And this is the most upset I've ever seen fans. I mean, I've never really seen fans in this way saying, I'm going to stop watching the show. I'm done. This was not good.
This is the most I've seen of that, Phil, of people being like, all right, I think I've had enough. And like getting people to like, we've talked about like heat, I hate this guy versus go away heat. And when it gets to go away heat, meaning I'm going away, that's when we might have a problem. We talked about kind of TK at the conference kind of doubling down, and like I saw a lot of people this week being like, but the numbers rose, so that must mean that the Death Rider stuff is working, and everybody talked all the shit about the Death Riders, but look at the numbers rising. And I'm like, I don't really know if how does that work, Phil? Just because like the numbers are rising on that, but like Moxley's a big star. He's a former WWE champion, a future WWE Hall of Famer. He still has that gravitas, and even on AEW, he still is like one of those guys, you know?
Yeah. It's interesting watching people use tactics that the other fan base used that they would be mad at. Doing the let it play out. Why are you guys hate watching it? If you hate watch it so much, just don't watch. I'm like, boy, this all sounds familiar.
I've heard all these things before.
And then also turned into, but look, he's drawing, he's doing numbers. And it's like, okay, but yeah, the YouTube clips do well for the Bloodline, the Death Riders. And you know, it seems like they do well metrics wise, but it's okay to say that, but also say this still isn't good. Two things can be true.
This is so funny too. Again, back to that special that I watched yesterday on WrestleMania 9. At that point, Hogan was on his way out, and they were trying to filter in this new generation. And so they started filtering the new generation, but it wasn't really working money-wise like they wanted. And they were like, we have to get Hogan back. Like Hogan is the numbers. They're like, Hogan's still selling out every venue. Hogan's still drawing the best numbers. But Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels and Undertaker are killing it on the undercard. And I was like, damn, this feels really familiar, because it's like, well, Hogan's the biggest draw. He has the biggest numbers, but them Hogan stories are fucking awful. We don't look back at them and be like, hey, remember that great Hogan match? We look back at it like, damn, that Hogan shit was terrible on top. Like it was making a lot of money, which I guess is the goal here. But if the shit's terrible, then what does that mean?
Yeah. It's hard to tell how much of this is people working themselves up. Because I've seen this take constantly. Like, well, you guys are mad because you fantasy booked this, and you know you didn't get the outcome that you booked in your head.
Booking thing's so funny.
And I guess that's fair for some people, but to me, when it feels like there's such an overwhelming amount of support behind something,
right,
and wrestling relies so much on crowd participation, there's such a gauge. Such a big gauge for what you're doing on the show. I don't think you can necessarily just use that as the excuse, because I think when you watched Revolution at the end of that show, it sure felt like it was this guy's time. And in all the making to this, it sure feels like, hey, this guy is great. I mean, since you've taken a championship off of him, everybody you've put him in a feud with, they've come out of it better. Isn't that what you should want out of your champion? I just think people are looking at that, and also the fact that the Hangman and Swerve stuff has been more interesting than the Death Rise and going, hey, this is great. Why isn't this the main storyline?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just felt like, especially as somebody who was there at Revolution and looking across the arena and seeing Swerve standing up there and then hitting that stomp. And when he got in that ring, Phil, like people are like, you guys fantasy booked this. No, we didn't. They like told us a story in a few simple steps that felt like Swerve was going to be the one. The funniest take that I saw this week of people on our side was legendary Hall of Famer, good old JR on his podcast was like, oh yeah, I thought that Swerve was going to win. He's all, the story felt like it was Swerve's time. He's a great champ. He's like, I love what John Moxley's doing, but I thought Swerve was going to win because of what they told us on TV. If good old JR is fantasy booking this the same way that we are, it doesn't seem like that much of a fantasy then, right?
Dun, 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 dun.
When I read, I was like, damn, JR thinks so too. I'm like, that we're not that crazy then, you know?
No, and I don't think it was far fetched when you look at how interesting the backstage segments were, the seeds they've been planning, the commercial for All In, and they kept showing the belt and having the voiceovers from Hangman and Swerve. I don't think anybody pulled this out of nowhere, which gets us to their report. That report this week that dropped via Fightful Select is that the plan was never for Swerve to win. And I don't know about you, but this felt like them attempting to put out a fire. Because if you thought that nobody would think that and that there was no inclination here, there was no storyline stuff to build to, why would you put their report out? Why would you, you don't just put their report out for no reason.
Yeah, I didn't. When I was reading that report, I was like, wait, why would they do this? I don't really like if this was the story the whole time, if this is what it was, then why do you need to counter what people are saying? Why do you need to prove what it was? Like if it was what it is, you just continue to do what you're doing. It's been so interesting with that talks and that developments of like, this was the story the whole time, and now like them trying to mix in the Young Bucks, and now it's like, well, the Swerve, they could be like, well, the Swerve and Hangman stuff was always leading to the Young Bucks, and that's why Swerve was in this position. But there's so many reasons as to why it didn't have to be this way. Like you could still get all the stuff you want in a different way.
Yes. Young Bucks are officially back. Excuse me. Well, sorry, Young Bucks are not back. The EVPs are back.
Yes. No tassels.
Yeah, that was the big swerve at the end of the show. No pun intended. That the Young Bucks are back. The Young Bucks cheated Swerve out of his title match, and they are officially back in AEW. They opened AEW Dynamite this week right after Mox versus Shibata, which I thought was a solid match. I enjoyed it. Very funny that he keeps doing this thing where I'm like, man, I hated this finish to this main event. Wasn't a big fan of this main event. Then we get to the Dynamite the week after, and it was like, hey, that was pretty good.
Fun.
Yeah, the Young Bucks
do that.
Yeah, Young Bucks are back. They came out after the match. Mox is getting out of the ring. He does that wrestler dramatic pause while they're going through the rope. Like, what are they doing here? And he seemed very confused. I saw a lot of people saying after Dynasty that this felt like the Young Bucks were joining Death Riders. I never read it that way.
No, I didn't read it that way at all with the whole thing. I felt like when they started to do the promo on Dynamite, I was like, I understand the stuff. Like, I see how they're trying to bring it together. I just didn't like how they're trying to bring it together. Like, they start to tell the story of, first of all, they did it for Hangman Page because he said that he doesn't want Swerve to be champion. So regardless, they were helping out their friend, even though, Phil, last time they interacted, they kicked him out of the group. Like, he wasn't down. They weren't friends or anything. But they did it for Hangman. And then secondly, they did it for the Death Riders. They did it for Moxley because they kind of like their vision. And that's what I was saying on the watch along, Phil, because when the Death Riders thing first began, a lot of people were saying it feels just like what the EVPs are doing. It feels the same story that Jack and the Young Bucks were telling. So for them to be like, we liked your vision, we kind of were on the same thing, I understand.
Yes. Yeah, the logic I always thought was, all right, this isn't about them joining the Death Riders. This is about them getting revenge on Swerve, because Swerve, as champion, sided with TK when they were trying to take over. Also, he was on the team against them at Blood and Guts. So, and they lost that match. So, you know, he really put a halt on their hostile takeover because he led Team AEW to a win over them. So I got that aspect of it. Also, when you add the Hangman stuff in there, I thought that at least made sense in a promo because when they went away, Hangman was still a heel. And they had like some tension, but they're looking at it like, well, Hangman's still our friend. He's one of our oldest friends in the world. So no, we're doing this for him, which is also very disingenuous because they're not doing anything for them. They're doing things for very selfish reasons. All of that is fine. This segment was bad.
Yes.
I hate to say it so bluntly, but it was bad.
It was the Kenny part. I was like, all right, you guys, we might have to.
Their reasoning was fine. The promo itself couldn't have been any more milquetoast and boring.
It was the same thing they've been doing. That's what I was like, oh, this is still the same shtick, and we've done it. That wasn't what we wanted at the return of the Young Bucks.
I think they've got to move on from the EVP stuff. It's just not clicking. They're cold as heels doing this act. I get what you were initially trying to do. You were trying to lean into the CM Punk stuff, lean into the idea that these guys are executives that are abusing their power, but it's just not getting the intended result. So I think you got to move on from it. It's just not hitting.
And it's like you're the Young Bucks, and you guys could be utilized in such a better way. Like there's such a better way for you guys to be used on this show. And it doesn't take a lot. Like we don't really want a evil authority figure things and Young Bucks being able to dictate what happens on the show and them kind of still doing that same bit that they were doing. I just want them to get back to the wrestling and the graps and this isn't the way to do it.
When they went away last year, I thought, okay, they're going to go away and retool this. You can still come back as heels, but just repackage this
different way
and do something different. And they're essentially coming back, still doing the same stuff. And I just didn't care. I got a little bit excited when Kenny came out. I was like, yeah, okay, we've been waiting for this interaction since Kenny came back. And Kenny, started his promo. And the more the promo went on, I was like,
what is
he started telling dad jokes, and I was just like, oh boy,
Dookie was a part of it, and I was like, oh, there's a Dookie chant. I was like, oh, we've lost the plot, I think.
Yeah, as hot as Kenny has been since he's been back, he's been in great matches. He feels like a big deal again. I feel like this kind of damaged him. I don't think, I'm not saying damaged him like, oh well, I don't like any of the stuff he's doing anymore, he can't come back from this, but this was the first thing he's done since he's come back that was just like, oh, I don't like this at all. This made him look lame. I was like, why
made him look mortal? It's like, because he's been looking like this big superstar, this god. He comes out with the music, all the matches feel epic, everything he's been a part of. When he's doing the stare down with Ospreay and he's telling him these are all the reasons why I needed to come back and prove to you all this, he felt like a big epic guy. On Wednesday, he felt like a loser. Like I was like, what is this? That's Kenny Omega, dog. He's telling Dookie jokes. What the fuck is this?
Yeah, it was not good at all.
With his gear, and he felt like he didn't really want to be there. I was like, I think because it feels like a step backwards, right, Phil? If we're telling what we've been telling of Kenny's return and what he wants to do upon all of this, and then he's like, oh yeah, you guys were just awful when I was gone. These are all the reasons why I'm gonna make you pay. And it's like, what is this, Kenny?
Yeah, I didn't like it. Even even like the end result of it, I was like,
Mhm.
okay, this is where we're going. Now, I do think it was exciting to see Swerve at this point at this juncture with AEW being a part of Elite Lore, being a
Yes.
part of a main storyline with those guys and what
Like
that means for this company. I think that's great. His line of saying like it's Bucks hunt season, all of that was great.
his
But
fire was great.
yeah, I just
And then like him and Kenny in the ring together, I was like, yes, like I like this
yes.
part. Let's get to this. This match is gonna rule the world.
Yeah, even if it's just them tagging for a little bit, that would be fun.
Mhm.
Or like teasing, getting to the one-on-one match, all great.
Yeah.
But yeah, A, the segment went on too long, and then B, I just think the content of it was not great. If you wanted this to be the thing that grabbed people after the end of Dynasty and was like, okay, I'm interested in this storyline, I was not interested by the end of the segment.
Like if that was like, this is the response to it. This is how we're going to continue and save this. It didn't feel safe to me, Phil. Like it felt like
No.
like, and I'm Young Bucks, like everybody in this, like Young Bucks are involved, Kenny Omega, Swerve, like these are all my favorite guys. And I was like, no, I don't like the way that this is being handled, especially off of that was the result of the Death Rider stuff essentially, and Mox wasn't involved. He left. Like it just, I didn't like it. If they could potentially get to a good way to tell the story, and the matches are going to be great, but this segment didn't do it for me at all.
Yeah, no, I didn't care for this at all. It didn't feel like this set up anything interesting for Mox for the next pay-per-view either.
Right.
Like, who is his next challenger going to be? That's still an open question. But I guess there's like you're starting to create the line for an Anarchy in the Arena match because now you've got Kenny and Swerve on the same side, and you could potentially add Hangman with them, and so you can start building the team for that. Maybe that's how you get, some version of this Death Riders plus Bucks in a mashup at Anarchy in Arena, I guess. But even that is just kind of like, I guess, I don't know.
I hate that it's a WWE thing that they started with Hell in the Cell and Money in the Bank of the year. We just like plug in moments of the year. We work the stories around the moments of the year. So like, oh, this story is going to lead to Hell in the Cell, so we have to blah, blah, blah. Or this story is going to lead to Anarchy in the Arena, or this story is going to lead to Stadium Stampede because it's May, because it's blah, blah, blah. I like this. They need to have these big matches be at the end of a big feud, like a blood feud, not just because it's the month. And that's what this is feeling like. Okay, we're getting to Blood and Guts. We're getting to Anarchy in the Arena. We have to start building these teams because it's around that time. No, it needs to be we're getting to Blood and Guts and we're getting to Anarchy in the Arena because we can't keep these two factions apart. We can't keep these people away from each other. And this doesn't feel like that. This feels like they're just trying to place people in place to continue telling whatever story they were telling.
That's exactly how I felt about it. It feels like just everything about this segment, everything that goes on, it just feels like going through the motions. It feels like, okay, we have to get from A to B. This is how we get there. And it just wasn't done in an interesting way.
Not with everybody involved, and how like if everybody would have just started brawling, that probably would have worked way better. You know what I mean? Like when Kenny was talking, then he's like, what if I just get in the ring and fight? I was like, finally, this is something interesting, because all of this just talking around in circles isn't doing anything for anybody. And again, I like all these people and I want them to be involved in great stuff. And these are the people, Phil, that should be filling the shows. We should be seeing these guys on Dynamite. We should be seeing these guys in the segments, but not like this.
Yeah. We also got a Young Bucks clip last night at Windy City Riot. It seems like they will be on the show. They challenged the War Dogs for the Ontario show. Makes sense. New Japan show in California for them to be a part of it. They also teased that they're going to bring some friends. What does that mean? Could mean Jack Perry. I've seen a lot of people that seem to think that they are teaming up with a few Good Brothers.
It feels like more people were saying Good Brothers than Jack Perry, and I was like, I think Jack Perry's easier and on the line, but I hear what you guys are saying. Definitely going to have to go to Ontario. Like I was thinking about it before, but I'm guaranteed to be there now with these new developments. So that's the funny part about this whole thing. Feels like we're just talking about the Young Bucks and how we didn't like. It wasn't really the greatest thing, but then they announced that they're going to wrestle the War Dogs, and again, I'm back because that's exactly what I want out of the Young Bucks. I want to see them against the premier tag teams in the world now, just fucking wrestling and not really that hard.
Yes. Yeah. Even the stuff with them sitting in a jet last night, and Chicago crowd was booing them while it was happening. Great. It feels like this is getting an intended reaction, but yeah,
Are you guys booing because of CM Punk or booing because you hate the Young Bucks? What was the Chicago reaction?
I think there was a mix. Because
are there still people that are on like fuck the Young Bucks because of that?
In Chicago, very loyal to CM Punk in the city.
I love it. So
yeah,
I think it's a good space to exist in. It's forever with this, but that's not the. They think that Chicago heat is everywhere, and it's not. Like a lot of people, like in California, we are Young Bucks fans, so we're not going to care about that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think there's a conversation to have about if you were going to lean in and capitalize off the heat off of Punk, there was a better way to do it, and I always felt that way.
Off rip, you were saying that.
I think there was just a better way to do it. Either go full in or not do it at all. And the biggest issue was always going to be, well, he's not here, and if he's not here and this is not leading to a match, why are we doing this?
Well, because this generation is now convinced that doesn't matter, Phil. They tell us all the time that the matches don't matter.
It's more about the
story, and I'm like, dog, I at the end of the day, if you guys are gonna beef with somebody, there has to be a resolution. That resolution is you guys getting in the ring and fighting. If that element is eliminated, then this whole thing means nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, the moral of the story is we want the Young Bucks to get back to the shit. The EVP stuff ain't it. Like the themes, like all of it is just like, this isn't what I want of these guys.
Listen, man, the little piano joint, I get it. Like, I get what you're going for. The executive thing. Enough, man. Get Super Kick Party back in the playlist. Put them tassels back on. Enough. Enough, bro.
Like we don't know how much longer we have these guys. We got Young Bucks who could still work. We got Kenny Omega who could still work. We got these people that could still do this. Have them do it, man. I don't want to feel like we wasted our time here. And I feel like this is the fucking Young Bucks. They're the reason for the season. We're talking about this show because of these guys, and there could be so much more.
Yeah, I'm just ready. I'm over it. I'm over this EVP stuff. It just does nothing for me.
Well, I think as we talked with the Swerve and Hangman stuff, the little bit of story that they furthered this week, I thought was great. Hangman he's just such a great character, and anything that he's involved in is just, it feels extra,
Yeah, it's another reason why I think a lot of people wanted to just move on to that, because he still feels like the main character on the show. He still feels like one of the best characters in wrestling. Right. That stuff with him and Nana when he busts in there, and he's like, "Where's he at? I wasn't trying to help him win. Let him know that. I hope he doesn't think I was trying to help him win, because screw that guy. Don't make me restart this with him." And Nana's like, "Man, I got something to tell you." He's like, "No, I don't want to hear that."
Nana's like, "Nah, man, sit down, man. Let me talk to you real quick." And Hangman's like, "Ain't nobody trying to hear that shit," which I like. We talked about on the watch along too. Is like, it can't just be instant, Phil. Like they can't just be like, if this is somebody's house got burned down, there is breaking and entering. Like there's a lot of stuff going on. It can't just be resolved over one little agreement or one cup of coffee. Like it's going to take a lot more to get to wherever they're trying to get to.
Yeah, I thought this segment was really good. I think really most of the stuff that Hangman does is good. Of course, he will be taking part in the Owen Hart Cup against a wild card. I very much think it's going to be Jack Perry.
I didn't know at all who I thought it was going to be, and you convinced me on Monday that it was going to be Jack Perry. And since then, even more on that it's going to be Jack Perry.
Yeah, very much think that it's going to be Jack Perry, and I think that they're probably going to cost him the match. I don't think he's going to win Owen, unfortunately, because he was my original pick to win. But nah, I don't think it's happening.
Damn, I was just not even to the ending, just excited about the prospect of Hangman and Kyle Fletcher, like I was talking about. Like that's potentially not even going to happen. Like he might not even make it out of the first round.
Yeah.
And then what did they do? Because Jack Perry's not going to win this. What did they do with Jack Perry? I think that might be the even bigger thing than the Young Bucks. If Jack Perry comes back as scapegoat, Phil, we can you're not escaping from any, like, you're not the scapegoat for anything anymore, right? Like if anybody needs to move on to something else, I think I might need Jack Perry even more than the Young Bucks to move on.
Move on from this thing that he's been doing for all this time. That's capitalizing off of a moment with a guy that's not there. Why would he do that?
We just had the 1 year anniversary of their little release of their video. I don't know.
Hey, but listen, I like Jack Perry. So I don't see a problem. I like the guy. I don't know what the problem is.
The scapegoat. Come on. Yeah, no, he can't be doing that upon return.
Yeah, I think he needs new theme music. I think he just needs to do something different. But I think across the board, all the elite guys need a refresh. Like, even Okada stuff at this point, it just feels like he's just there. It doesn't feel like, even with the match you're building with Omega, I don't think people are excited based on the job AEW is doing to heat up this feud. We're excited off of their history, just what they represent together.
And that feels like another going through the motions. Like, we know you guys, we know this match is in the horizon, so we're going to tease it. But the way they're even teasing it, of them just walking, like, it doesn't feel like they're adding to the lore. Like, we're excited because it's that match and it's going to be on American soil and it's been building for a long time. Like, maybe that plays a role of they're like, these people are going to be excited regardless. But no, you can add some extras to the match on the way up there.
Yes. Send us your super chats. Feel free to tell us we are wrong about all this stuff. I'm sure there are people that are enjoying it. I feel like we were more negative than we've been in quite a while about something from AEW, but boy, I did not like the segment, man.
I just hate that all these people that I like are attached to something that feels kind of lackluster. I'm like, all these brains working together, and this is what happened. It doesn't feel like everybody put their best foot forward when best feet need to be put forward at all moments.
Yeah, it could have and should have been so much better, especially because we had been waiting for this interaction between Kenny and the Young Bucks, and it ended up being pretty disappointing.
Pretty unfortunate, you guys. And you could get it together. Like, again, this could be resolved in one show. Everything could be brought back to light. So I don't think it's over for anybody. There was a lot of talk this week about Moxley being washed, Moxley being all this. And I don't think Moxley's a bad wrestler attached to all this. I just think the stories being told are kind of not the greatest.
Yeah, that's crazy talk. I'm not accepting no Mox slander off of this. Mox is still a great wrestler. I just don't like the storyline either.
And it's funny because I think the bits like we were talked about on Ask Grapsody, like the Moxley Bloodline kind of saga bits get kind of frustrating when it feels like we're going through Blunder and all this stuff. And then there's another side of Moxley that's like Bloodsport Moxley, and the guy that's like trying to grind you out and then the ground and pound shit. And so he did the Bloodsport style match this week, and I was like, to counteract the lore that everybody hates on Revolution, to the first match of Dynamite is you and the Bloodsport shit was hilarious. I'm like, at least Moxley is really if anybody's sticking to their guns, it's him.
Yeah, I mean, this is traditional heel stuff. He's taken away all of the things that have been his calling card with AEW. He hasn't been bleeding. He is not doing the straightforward matches now. It's just constant interference. He took the belt away. He's taken away all of these things that, were hallmarks of his first three reigns. And I get that. I get what the intent is. I just don't necessarily think that it's working the way they want it to.
I don't think so either. But the numbers.
The numbers sometimes numbers lie, dog. That whole line, I hate that he gave that to the world, because sometimes numbers do lie.
Numbers do lie, or they don't tell the whole story, at least.
Yes. Well, at the very least, people use numbers to
to lie.
help their lie. So
yeah, to help their lie.
Yeah, we see that quite a bit. People be hiding behind some numbers, buddy. People be getting their lies off behind some numbers, buddy.
People be writing numbers like a surfboard. Sometimes I'm like, you're still on them 1990 numbers, dog. It's been a long time.
Yes. Yeah. One of the things I did really like though was the Max and Herz Syndicate stuff. I really enjoyed
me too.
That was really funny.
Yeah. I think their interactions have been great. I like the stuff that Max did at the pay-per-view, kind of hiding in the crowd, getting the crowd to chant along to "We Heard People." And then this week, Herz Syndicate having their championship celebration and Max interrupting, and the part where he just goes in and stands right next to Shelton, like he's a part, like he stands in line. Great bit, and Shelton being kind of like in on it too, being like, "Nah, this was kind of funny though." I think is a great bit.
What I said this feels like the Sami Zayn stuff where he falls in line. It feels like Jimmy, like, hey, I kind of like this guy. What's the problem? I like him. He's cool.
Everybody just rehashing Bloodlines. Like, are they the standard of pro wrestling now, guys?
When something was going on for like 4 years, it's impossible that it did not inspire a bunch of other things, especially when it was the hottest thing going for 4 years. Man, I've seen this take a lot when people are like, it's still not as bad as the Bloodline. The thing is, like, even though I didn't like the Roman formula for matches during the Bloodline stuff, the thing that made the Bloodline work is that the weekly television was good. The segments were good. You cared about the characters. They did the work to get you invested in them as a stable. I still don't think that Death Riders have done enough to do that. Like, the close-up interview was the closest thing we've gotten so far, but they don't do enough on a weekly show to make you care about this group. And I think that's one of the big problems with it.
It's not the same at all in that point. Like, with the Bloodline stuff, like, everyone was getting over. Like, Sammy was getting over. We see where Jay is at now. Like, everybody that was a part of that, like, branched off to something, or even when it was happening, were creating magic and doing things. It's like, this is Mox's show. Like, there's everybody involved. Like, the Death Riders are involved to help with the interference and the plunders and getting the matches, but it isn't like they're telling these compelling stories where the whole group is getting over.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, the guy that's benefiting the most off of the heat is Wheeler Yuta. He's got legitimate heat off of all of this stuff.
He does. If anybody, like, he's the one, like we saw in Philly, people are hating him. And every time he's kind of involved in something, the crowd are really on his backs. But for the rest of them, they're great wrestlers and everything. But it's like, they're just kind of along for the ride and not like credible threats. And people are like really worried about the rest of the stuff. This has just been so interesting, man. And people being like, also on the other thing, like, you can't compare this shit to the Bloodline. Like, it's not nobody's saying like this is on the same level. We're saying they're taking elements from the Bloodline and rehashing them.
It's impossible not to see it at this point. The way he's working the matches, the interference bits, the way they keep doing like the light. When they did the lights out at Dynasty, I was like, bro, it's impossible to not see the correlations, man.
All they needed is some hoodies.
Yeah, and they've done that. They've done the hoodie.
The hoodies bits too.
Yeah, they just fucking did the hoodie thing at Revolution.
They're just borrowing direct bits from it. And just like, again, it just doesn't feel like the vibe. And like, Dynamite didn't change what I thought of this. It kind of ramped it up even more, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, they're going in deeper.
Yeah, unfortunately. Super chats.
Yes,
send us your super chats, because again, that is the best way to get your chat read on the air.
No, that's the last one we just read.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Sorry.
J Rom says Naito versus Liger at Resurgence. Jushin Thunder Liger?
Yeah, people are joking because that Liger cosplayer was in the crowd. Pretty funny.
I was like, damn, what did I miss? Dex Baker says, I'm late as fuck. Just wanted to say it was good to meet Phil yesterday. And I was rocking the Grapsody merch because Chicago is cold. Damn, you met a Grapsody homie, Dex Baker, in a Grapsody hoodie, I'm assuming?
Yeah. Shout out to Dex. He was at
So cool.
the meetup for Kicking It Strong Style. I believe he was at the meetup last year as well. Cool dude. Yeah, I definitely looked up and I was like, wait, that's our merch.
Wait, that's me.
That's our merch.
That's so cool, man. I just love hearing stories like that, honestly.
Yeah, so appreciate you, Dex. Appreciate you for grabbing some of our merch. If you too want to grab some of our merch, grapsody.bigcartel.com. You can get a hat like this. You can get one of our hoodies. We still have our first run of hats on there and some other merch. So check that out.
Big Graps, baby.
Let's see. Got another one from Grapple Geekery.
Grapple Geekery says, did you read Blood Syndicate? I'm still mourning Tech 9, and he died in issue number 4 in 1993. Some fictional deaths hang with you, like Dom in Gears of War.
Yeah, I wasn't a big Blood Syndicate guy. I was mostly a static and hardware guy. But yeah, no, there's certain deaths that every time they reference it somewhere, I'm like, no, we don't need to talk about that.
Good writing when you can get to that bit.
Yeah.
Well-rounded Leo says AEW looks bad by not showing their world title for months. If you don't care about your main title, why should the fans care?
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying I get the intention. I just don't think that it reads well, personally. But
like, I don't know, telling this story with your main world title, like, that's crazy. And like Well-rounded Leo saying here, we haven't seen this belt in months, dude. Like, and like, I'm not this guy, but like, you need to be selling merchandise. Like, if this belt's present, more people want to buy it. And you know, it's like, I hate comparisons, but like the way that the other guys will send anybody a championship and you see that shit everywhere, that's how AEW should be. Like, the fact that their championship isn't presented every fucking week everywhere is mind-boggling.
I don't get it.
Mind-boggling.
I mean, I don't like it. Yeah, we got one from Eloquent as well.
The homie Eloquent says, LOL, why do people suddenly hate Anarchy in the arena?
Do people hate it? I don't think people hate it. I hope that's not how it came off, like we hate it. Because I think Anarchy in Arena will be fine. I just think when you make the build this thing every year where it's like, okay, we got to do an Anarchy in Arena match, it doesn't feel organic. It just feels like, okay, we're doing this to get to the Anarchy in Arena match. And that's not really that interesting to watch when it looks formulaic.
Right. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying I hate Anarchy in the Arena. I've had so much fun at most of them in Vegas. It's just like I want them to have an organic build to it, to actually feel like these guys are in this blood feud locked into that, and that isn't what it feels like.
Yes. But yeah, I think it's going to be good. I mean, having it in a different setting, I'm very interested to see how it's going to come off in Phoenix instead of Las Vegas.
Me too.
But no, I don't hate Anarchy in the Arena. A lot of times it's the most fun match of the year.
Exactly. And all the people involved in this, like, there's no way that it won't be super fun. Oh, Arizona. Bryan Danielson used to live there, I think. Yeah. Coy Styling says, it's been 1 week since you looked at me. It's been 1 week is my only thing. Y'all aren't wrong. Hold on, let me read that without this. It's been 1 week since you looked at. Coy Stalling says, it's been 1 week is my only thing. Y'all aren't wrong.
Yeah.
About the this Bloodline shit or Death Rider stuff.
Yeah.
We'll see, man. I'm just like, again, if we're doing time and dates and we're trying to get to All In, that's still so far away. And if we're going to have months and months more of this shit, it's going to be a rough time.
Yeah, look, I get the people that are like, be patient, let the Young Bucks stuff get better. But the Death Rider stuff been going on for 6 months. It's been 6 months. People that are doing we don't let long-term things play out anymore. It's been 6 months. It's been going since October.
Especially for pro wrestling, it's been a lifetime. Like we've done a long time. Like this is long term. Like this is like by this point we're supposed to feel like we're at a good space in it, and it doesn't feel like we've gotten anywhere.
This angle started at All Out. That was September.
Mm-hmm. Damn.
We're getting close to starting the summer again.
Yeah.
that was one of the funny things I saw. People like, you guys are so impatient. It's like, guys, I think you can make an opinion about something after 6 months. Yeah.
Definitely, especially with like the ending of Dynasty, the ending of Revolution, the ending of World's End. That you can go back a couple of endings and be like, I didn't. There's a lot of stuff that wasn't great. Like, we're letting it play out, and it still isn't great.
Yes.
Tony P says, to your point, Mox is still getting big cheers Wednesday. Mox was still getting big cheers Wednesday.
Yes, and that's one
because
thing.
he's over.
I don't think that it's having the intended result. I know what he's attempting to do to get heat. I know what he's because again, it's his very traditional heel stuff. I just don't think that it's working in a way that they think it is, and putting the numbers out there doesn't change the fact that this isn't working in a way that you want it to, because this is a common wrestling thing. It's a common boxing thing of getting people to keep buying or keep watching to see somebody lose. Like, man, Mayweather made basically his whole career selling fights off of, I'm a big annoying jerk. I know people want to see me lose. I don't think that the numbers of people watching weekly reflects that.
Right. Yeah, that's the part I'm trying to, when people are trying to sell that of like, well, the numbers, I'm like, that doesn't change so much though. And like, if the consensus, or if you're trying to tell us that you listen to fans or you listen to people, well, you can't. And that's also been the funny thing too, is like people being like, there's those IWC geeks, nobody listens to them, and why would? And I'm like, but AEW, that's what this is about. They cater to the IWC, even though you're the fucking IWC too. The people that y'all trying to say to, like, they've been catered to. Hardcores are fed, hardcores are done this. So why in this moment should they be ignored? It's just so funny how things work.
This started as an internet company. A lot of the people that watched this show started as BTE fans. Not all of them, but a big part of the core audience followed from the YouTube show and followed from the build to All In. That was all on the internet. There was no weekly show. A lot of the stuff that got original fans to start watching came from the internet.
This is an internet wrestling company. That's how this started, and that's where we got to. Yeah, there's a bigger, larger scale now, and they should do that, but they should also cater to their core.
Yes.
And they're not listening to their core.
Yeah, everything pro wrestling, I agree. There is a difference between the Dynamite crowd and the pay-per-view crowd. That's very apparent.
Yeah. Because like when you're in random place, blah, 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 they're going to know Mox. They're going to know Cope. They're going to know the bigger stars. You know, there's definitely difference in crowds.
Yeah, and there's a difference between, and we see this with WWE, there's a difference between people that tune in and watch every week and people that keep up with clips and stuff on the internet. Mox and certain people being in the thumbnail and the headline for YouTube is going to get certain people to click it because it's Mox. He's a big star.
Yeah, there's still people over there that watch WWE that will click on a Mox clip in AEW because they know Mox.
They just want to see what he's doing. They want to. A lot of people that just watch the clips just to keep up, if they're not watching the show, they're just trying to see what are the biggest stars on this brand doing.
Casuals. And like, if you want to cater to casuals, like, that's another story for another day.
Yeah, and I, of course, I'm not going to say that accounts for everybody that clicks those clicks, but when people say, okay, well, his clips do better than everybody else, yeah, because it's Jon Moxley. This guy's a big star. It's just like when he was doing the stuff for Copeland and their stuff together, we're doing well. Yeah, it's Mox and Edge. These two are big, massive stars.
Like, people are going to check for them, check for their videos no matter what. And a lot of the people that are casuals in the crowds are going to know Mox, are going to know Cope, so they're going to get the bigger cheers.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like Copeland comes out, everybody sings the theme song. It's very over. It's a very wrestling thing. But does that mean that they're enjoying everything that Copeland does week to week? Those people don't care. They're just a part of the experience of singing his theme song and being there. That's it.
Boom. That's the way to say it right there. Because people are probably like, look, see, everybody's singing their song, Doug. I'm singing his song. That doesn't mean that I want to fucking see this fucking story play out.
Yeah.
It's just a part of being in the crowd. It's a part of the experience. It's a part of the wrestling live shit. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Which is can be two conflicting things.
Yes.
Van Blaze says, Phil, you read the Static Verse reboot books. They are great.
I haven't. I've been trade waiting for a while, and I just still have not picked up the trade. Sorry, I'm using words that I'm sure some people are like, what does that mean? So there's two sects of comic fans. There are fans that go every week and pick up what are floppies. Those are just like the single issues, and they collect them together. And there are people that wait until it's all collected in a trade paperback. So when people are like, I'm trade waiting, that means I'm waiting until the trade comes out.
Gotcha. Trade waiting. Never heard that term before.
Yeah, there are people that either wait for the trades, or there are people that are like locked in and they have like a pull box at a comic book store, which I don't know if people know what a pull box is either. Sorry. So a pull box is you can go to a comic book store and you can tell the person at the counter, hey, I'm interested in these books, and you put together what's a pull list. You'll write down all of the comics you want for that month, and then when they get them in, they'll put them in a box for you. And so when you come into the store, they'll have your stuff in the pull box and they'll set them on the counter for you, and you go about your day.
Oh, wow. It sounds like kind of like record digging. I was like, I've heard these stories in hip hop before. They're like, oh yeah, Pete Rock. They would always have Pete Rock stuff set aside, or like Q-Tip stuff set aside. Sounds like record digging.
Yeah, but I haven't been a weekly reader in a long time, so I've been waiting for the trade paperbacks, and I just have not bought. Maybe I'll see if I can find the trades later today, because I'll be back at T2E2. There you go.
Grapple Geekery also says TK used numbers to justify terrible booking of the women's division for years. Let's not forget. I appreciate him, but his stances don't always hold up.
This is a good point, because
great point.
When you go by numbers, it can be misleading, and you see how great the women's stuff is right now. If you kept going by numbers and said, okay, they're the lowest viewed segment every week, then that justifies not giving the women more opportunities.
Boom. And we know that that's not how it is, because we've seen them knock it out of the park. They just need to be given the opportunity. And sometimes the ratings and numbers don't reflect what the quality is. Oftentimes.
Yeah, that's all of our super chats. Send us your Humperchats as well. Humperchats.com/Fightful. Sorry, screen is reloading on me. Here we go. We got one from D-Lo Diggs. He says, sup to the bros and the Grass family, celebrating 1 year anniversary with my wife in Denver. Got to see God. He said, got to see Ja Grenade's celebration, and I popped hard. Hope everyone has a good one. God bless and enjoy the Goofy movie doc. Yeah, that sounds dope. Congratulations on the 1 year anniversary. Out in Will Washington's neck of the woods, watching basketball. That sounds dope.
Yeah, shout out to D-Lo and his partner. It feels like you were just telling us about getting married. That's why I was like, man, it's been a year already. Time is fucking crazy, you guys. It flies by so fast. It's insane. Hope y'all had a great time. Great games to be involved in. Denver was really fun last time I was there, so I get it.
Yeah, I have not seen the Goofy movie doc yet. I have to watch it. I believe it's on Disney Plus now. I made a Goofy movie reference in front of somebody that's not in our age group, and they were so confused by it. And I was like, "Oh, you've never seen a Goofy movie?" He was like, "No." I was like, oh, "Okay, never mind."
That's crazy, man. What a. I mean, there's a lot of separation in generation. I watched the homie, what's his name, Cleo Thomas. Watched him open up like a Goofy movie exclusive box. Like, it's just like our generation is like a part of that.
Yeah. The reference was, he was saying how, his son thought he was, the greatest thing in the world. He was his hero at one point, and now it's like you go and talk to him. He's in his teenage mode where everything is annoying. His parents are the most annoying people in the world, and I was like, he doesn't remember Hi Dad Soup, and he was like, what? And I was like, Hi Dad Soup, and he was like, he didn't know what that was a reference to at all.
You don't know what that means. He's younger generation, I'm guessing.
No, he's older than me. And
older generation. Okay,
he was confused. I was like, Hi Dad Soup. I was like,
okay. What is this, young blood?
See, we've got some from Humperchat regular Tony P. He says, a few thoughts about WrestleMania. While watching Raw, I realized, which even Lyric and Ibu peeped on her pod, Dynasty, pre-show, and May card separately had more black people on both shows than WrestleMania will. This also leads me to feel a way about a certain match. Yeah, the build to this WrestleMania has not been great. The more I see of the entire card, it doesn't look that great either, to be completely honest. There are some things I really love, like, man, kudos to Naomi and Jay for making the best out of this. I think that this has been one of the best storylines going into WrestleMania. I'm glad that they are getting the match at WrestleMania. They're not just putting it on one of the go-home shows. And, man, that video package, that was the only thing I've seen from SmackDown last night. Really, really good. If you have not seen it, it is great.
They never give Meltzer his props. Meltzer put out the full WrestleMania card, word for word, bar for bar, and they confirmed it on SmackDown last night, just how Meltzer put it out. So are they going to be like, hey, Meltzer did something right? No, they don't ever do that when that happens. So there are going to be a couple of black men on the card, Phil, finally. The New Day will take on the Vikings or the War Raiders. What are their names at this point?
War Raiders.
War Raiders.
And
a tag team match for the tag team championship. So that's something. There'll be some kind of representation for black men on the show, but still, for the most part, it's pretty bleak around there for the things. There's some people that I'm happy, like Penta's on the card. I think is pretty awesome. Jacob Fatu is going to be on the card. Like, there's some this is great things, but it hasn't been the greatest build that they've had.
No. Isn't there another tag match? Aren't Street Profits going to be on the show as well?
They didn't announce that, I think.
They didn't.
I think they're still going to be on the show the SmackDown before.
That is crazy because they've been building that match longer.
Mm-hmm.
They've been building to this multi-man match for a while, multi-team match rather.
Yeah, they should definitely put it on there. But
let's see. I'm looking at it now. There are 7 matches announced for night 1. There are 6 matches for night 2. So maybe it'll still get added. Let's see. Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair, of course, night 1. Jey Uso versus Gunther. Jade Cargill versus Naomi. War Raiders versus New Day. LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu. Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano. This card is...
That match made the card, Phil.
And of course, Roman Reigns versus CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. Those are all the night 1 matches.
That is...
putting the Rey Mysterio El Grande Americano match on this night 1 card, and neither of the women's mid-card titles are being defended here. There's no Street Profits match either. That's a choice. I don't really get that, I feel you.
And then I think they, for the women's tag team matches, that's the second night, they did one of my least favorite tropes. Like, isn't Lyra in the match? Isn't she a champion?
Yes. So night 2, Io Sky versus Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley, AJ Styles versus Logan Paul, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Bayley and Lyra Valkyria.
Doesn't she already have a belt?
She does, and of course they're doing the whole mid-card champion or other singles champion is in a tag team to
hate it.
Where is Alexa Bliss?
Where the fuck is Alexa Bliss? I am very confused about this. Weren't they building her and Liv up to have a thing? Like, I felt like
that's what I thought.
They're gonna have the show down here at WrestleMania.
They emphasized it in both the Royal Rumble and Elimination Chamber. Alexa got this massive pop in the Royal Rumble.
Huge.
And then she had a good showing in Elimination Chamber, and Liv was the one that eliminated her. I thought that was leading to maybe Liv and Nikki versus them. I don't know if something fell through with the Wyatt Six because we haven't seen them, but
I haven't seen them.
Alexa hasn't been on TV since Elimination Chamber.
I'm super confused because that would have made way more sense. That would have added a lot of heat to this women's tag match. Like, I'm happy that the women's tag team champions are getting on there, but it feels like they had the opportunity to tell a better story leading into it, and they didn't.
And I just don't, like I said, I don't understand why the women's mid-card titles are not being defended here. You just established those belts, and then the first Mania immediately you're not doing anything for them. I mean, that bodes well once they announce Evolution 2, I hope, because you now have those belts for that show. But this WrestleMania, you couldn't put at least one of those shows. Like, as great as Chelsea has been this year, you couldn't find something for Chelsea Green to do.
You couldn't put Chelsea on the card, a big multi-women match or something. It's just even more confusing because one of the champions is on the show. Like, if you're going to have her on the show, why don't you just have her defend her belt?
And I think Lyra's been great as champion in terms of the in-ring stuff. I don't think they've given her enough feuds, and they haven't given her interesting storylines, but all of her matches have been hitting. The match from Monday with Bayley was really good, and I came away from it thinking, like, okay, well, you guys got this huge pay-per-view in a week. Why didn't you just put this match on that pay-per-view? I'm confused. Like, why'd you put it on Monday when you could have put this on the WrestleMania card? And then you're going to put these two people that just wrestled on Monday in a tag team within a week. What are we doing this?
I'm so confused too, Phil. And earlier this week, they released the run times for WrestleMania, and both days are like 9 hours worth of run time. I'm like, you couldn't find time for these mid-card. The Chelsea thing is confusing because, like, if anybody has earned a spot onto this fucking card, Chelsea Green, dog.
Chelsea got robbed here
every week to get on this.
Chelsea should have had a match on this show. But yeah, just to round out the last three matches on night 2, Braun Breaker versus Penta versus Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio for the WWE Intercontinental Championship, and Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre in a Sin City street fight, whatever that is. And Cody Rhodes, of course, versus John Cena. This card is a mixed bag, to say the least.
Philip Lindsey, mixed bag is a great way to describe. When you're running it down, I'm like, this is. I was talking about on Ask Grapsody. I think a lot of people are last year and the year before have gotten people's brains pretty like we think like every WrestleMania is going to have the greatest build of all time. And historically, for a long time, it wasn't. Like, there were some bad years that like the show was a big spectacle and it worked, but the buildups weren't that great. Like I was saying there, we had like 6 or 7 years of Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns build that, like, a lot of the times we didn't want that shit. So like when they got to when Bloodline started really cooking and Cody came in, now people are expecting these huge buildups. They're expecting The Rock. They're expecting all this spectacle, and it hasn't been that. And like, I don't think that should take away from what the show's going to be. But then you hear what the show is and you're like, but the matches though aren't really. Rey Mysterio and fucking not Chad Gable is like, what? That's a Raw match.
Well, this is funny and vindicating for me because I said when he came out and did the Gulf of America shit overseas, I said, hey, if the payoff isn't worth this, like, why are you doing it? And I kept going, no, they're gonna have Ray Phoenix have this big win, and that's gonna mint Ray Phoenix. He's gonna be the one that unmasks him in front of a crowd, and you're just giving it to Ray, and Ray don't need that. I get Ray is the most popular luchador in the world, one of the most popular luchadors ever, and having him stand up for luchadors means something, but you could have did this on TV.
Yeah, or like gave it to Dragon Lee, or like something. Like, it could have been a better way.
Dragon Lee, you just signed 2 massive fucking luchadors. You just signed Ray Phoenix. You just signed Penta, and I mean, good for Penta. I think being in an Intercontinental title match is better for him than being in this comedy match with, I assume, Chad Gable behind this mask, right? Big surprise.
But even the the Intercontinental title match kind of feels like a Raw main event too. Like it doesn't feel like they've built it up to be like, like I'm excited for all the guys in it. And Braun Breaker's spear from this week that I've seen 1,000 times at this
Crazy.
point. Absolutely insane. One of the craziest things I've ever seen. But a lot of it feels like Raw, SmackDown, because it feels like regular weekly shit. Now I don't know if that's could be just because of where wrestling is, Phil, and it's every show needs big matches and we need stuff like this, but it just doesn't feel like this is WrestleMania. This is the biggest card of the year.
No, I think the weekly show has been not as good as it was last year, starting with the Netflix debut.
Netflix hasn't been that great, huh, Phil?
Yeah, the jump to Netflix, I don't think Raw has been really, I mean, it's doing well in terms of popularity and numbers and stuff, but for my enjoyment of the show, I think there were bits of last year where the show was better. And SmackDown, I've said before, it's just too long, and I think there's too much filler on it. It just is not, it's not good.
3 out every single time. It's like 7:30 here in California, and people are talking about, they're like still talking about SmackDown. I'm like, dude, SmackDown has been on for so long. Like it feels like it's been a year's worth of stuff and it's just one night. And I don't know how it's going to continue to work out. Well, it's not forever, but it seems so long.
Yeah. We've got some more Humperchats. We're going to get into those and get into some of this New Japan show from last night. But first, got a word from our sponsor.
Mm-hmm. BetOnline.ag is the official betting partner of Fightful. 100% of the time when you get the odds from Fightful, they are coming from BetOnline.ag. And it's not just wrestling, it's not just MMA and boxing. It's football, it's basketball, baseball, hockey. They have the earliest lines. You can bet big with the high limits and rebet functionality. They have the fastest payouts with winnings paid in minutes and the industry's best bonuses on every qualifying deposit. They've been trusted for 25 plus years. It's not some fly-by-night company. BetOnline AG has been there. They've done that. In addition, they're trusted by millions. They've got VIP rewards programs and a ton of popular games. BetOnline.ag, that's where I go to make my bets. That's where I suggest you go to, my friends. Please just bet what you can and bet responsibly.
Mm-hmm.
As always, please bet what you can, bet responsibly. But for all your sports betting needs, BetOnline is the place to go. Probably will be a lot of people getting their bets in with the NBA playoffs starting. Sure, there will be lines and favorites for WrestleMania as well. People, please. Also, people heading to Vegas, bet responsibly.
It's so crazy because on that documentary, they're like, damn, this guy's references his documentary again. But they talked about at Caesar's Palace, they put the numbers up of the show. It was like Bret Hart, Yokozuna, like all the matches. But at the bottom, it said for entertainment purposes only because like you couldn't bet on pro wrestling back then. And now you can bet on pro wrestling. What a different world that we exist in. It's pretty crazy. I was just watching a clip of Becky Lynch. It was at a show, at some kind of show last night. And at one point she says, "Oh, I'm not wrestling anymore." And then the crowd's like, "What?" And then she's all, "Well, maybe one day, not for now though." And so I don't know what that means. Maybe she could be trolling people. Maybe she could be trying to set some anticipation for a return. But Becky Lynch has said that she's not wrestling anymore.
I don't believe you, Becky. Why are you lying?
She's probably on her way to Vegas right now.
Why are you lying?
Mm-hmm.
As I almost knocked my phone off the table. Humperchats. Let's see. Well, we've got a lot. Let's see. From Tony P says, I feel that the New Day Raiders match is a token match. It was added for two reasons: to replace the KO Randy and to not get blowback about black male talent not on the card. I don't think it was ever supposed to be on the card. Now the women, they fucked them over. I think it's more of the latter. I mean, more of the former than the latter. I think it's there to replace the KO Randy match more than it is there that they care about the response about people saying there are no black wrestlers.
Same here. Yeah, I definitely think it was a response. And they're talking about still filling the Randy match, Phil. I don't know what
Yeah,
they're
I don't
gonna
know
fill it
what,
with.
but
Yeah.
so maybe that might end up being the 7th match on night 2.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Wouldn't be surprised. See more
They
from
haven't
Tony.
announced any pre-show matches or anything. There could still be stuff on that too, but
But they haven't been doing pre-show matches for a while. They've just been doing like a pre-show with like all the video stuff.
That's true. I would.
Which it's worked out for Big E because Big E does that thing where he goes to a city and eats food and like he does the panels and stuff. He's great, but there's usually not any matches. Yeah. He's Tony P also says, I've not been really excited for this Mania and more interested in the indie shows happening. It also seems people have calmed down about Dynasty. I'm shocked to learn how some of the recent and old injuries seem to have affected the original plan of the card. Yeah, I think that played into some of it. Actually, sorry, I did skip one of your Humperchats here. He also says it is clear they have no plan for the mid card women. Those mid card titles were just created on a whim. They killed Rox Bailey and put Bailey in the tag title match with Lyra because they nerfed all the mid card and don't have any real challenges for Lyra. Yeah, it's weird to see them take one step forward and put a big mid card non-title women's match on the show with Naomi and Jade, and then also create mid-card titles and do nothing with them.
And then don't have them on there.
It's
almost like maybe you should have had the championship attached to that feud or something at this point. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of things I thought were going to happen here, and maybe this is just me fantasy booking again and getting it wrong.
Don't do that.
But I thought, like, for sure, Solo versus Jacob Fatu was going to be the match. So when Jacob ended in the U.S. title match, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. That kind of feels like a way to get LA Knight here, but I don't see a world you don't put that belt on Jacob.
Right, yeah. I would be very surprised if Jacob doesn't leave that WrestleMania as the United States champion. Excited like you're saying that he got on there, but it is kind of some things are like a head scratcher. I thought that's what all this Bloodline 2.0 shit was going to lead to.
They started building that story and, you know, teasing that there was dissension between them, and then it didn't really go anywhere. So I don't know. And then after all of the stuff with Solo from last year, I thought that would be the way to get Solo on this card, and Solo's not on the card. Confusing.
Solo may have been a whole bunch of shows and pay-per-views, but then WrestleMania,
bro,
nothing.
Was on TV constantly last year with the Bloodline stuff. Like when Roman was gone, he carried the bulk of the Bloodline stuff, and you've got nothing for him at WrestleMania. That's kind of weird.
Like he could potentially be in the match with Randy, I guess. There's a way to do that, but that's not really.
Anybody want to see that?
No. I have zero interest. I don't think that's the match at all.
Bro, I said what my take is. Give Carmelo that match. See, more from Tony P says, however, now people are freaking out about the report of Mox possibly having a long reign going into Wrestle Dream for Darby to win it, which would be stupid. I don't think this is happening, and Will is getting it as of All In. The Death Rider story must end soon. Yeah, I don't buy that they're waiting for Darby. I don't buy that at all.
I don't think Darby's really factoring into what's happening here anymore.
I don't see it.
Like he's going to be involved when he gets back, but I don't think it's like we're waiting to do this. We're waiting to pull triggers because we're waiting for Darby Allin.
No. More from Tony P. He says, even as I say that, it seems some are curious about the Bucks in this Death Rider story. As for AEW Dynamite was fun. TK is invested in Knight, and it had my Petty of the Week winner. Why Kenny had to put their business out in the street and let the world know the Bucks got cuck chairs. Yeah, there's a lot
serious organization. We don't need these bits.
Serious business around here. Yeah, I mean, as much as we didn't like the opening segment, there were other things on the show I liked. I mean, the big multi-man match, the big TK likes his money prize matches. And this was fun. I thought that the segment that they did beforehand with the baby faces, like, what are you going to do with your money? And Kevin Knight's like, going to Magic City, baby. I was like, okay.
Those Atlanta guys, so funny. But yeah, that was a Righteous Reg Invitational match. So of course I loved it. Like they booked this directly for me. Bunch of spot food, bunch of guys going insane. Really fun stuff. Prayers and all the things out to the homie Pac, who got injured in a spot with Swerve this week. You could see it as this thing was happening. That was one of the matches we were all really looking forward to for Dynamite. So it's unfortunate that it had to end so early. But quick recovery and things to the homie Pac, man. Really unfortunate.
Yeah, you like you said, you could see where it happened, and even like he was trying to keep the match going. You could see where it kept breaking down, and even at the end, you can kind of hear him saying sorry while he's getting pinned. And yeah, sucks to see that.
Hated it.
Yeah, but hopefully he'll be back on his feet. Terrible luck for Pac, man. And then at the end of the show, they did the stuff with the ops, and ops are like, we're coming for those trios championships. I was like, one of the members of the trios champions might not be there.
Samoa Joe fire shit was dope though. And there was a Hook. I hope Hook is okay also. Hook had a couple of accidents in the ring, it looks like. Ooh.
Yeah. Hopefully so.
Jeez Louise. Maybe he was just blown up, but yeah, there was some puke in the ring. I think it was from Hook.
Oh.
Yeah.
We got the latest stuff from the Owen. That was fun as well. Very excited to see where we go with the Owen. The Owen has turned out to be one of my favorite additions to AEW.
Could that be it? No, I was like, could Samoa Joe potentially be the wild card? But no, I don't think they would do that. Samoa Joe should have been in this tournament though.
I do think it would have been great if he was in the tournament, but the fact that he immediately said trios champions at the end of the show tells me that's not where we're going.
Samoa Joe needs to be involved in a match with him and Mox could be a pay-per-view, if they need another guy to be on that side.
Yes. We didn't get a chance to talk about it last week because we didn't do an episode Saturday, but we officially have all the bracket for the Owen, and then the Owen kicked off immediately at Dynasty, so we didn't get a lot of time to talk about it. But like I said, the Owen has become one of my favorite tournaments of the year, right up there with the Continental Classic. I think adding the number one contendership to it made it much more important. It added stakes to it because nobody liked those pink belts, and it just kind of felt like, all right, just do the cup. Because it's called the Owen Hart Cup. Just do the cup. And now that you've added, all right, it's kind of like their version of the New Japan Cup now, where you win the cup and then you earn a title shot. So excited for that. The feel for this is exciting for both the men and the women. Straight away, getting Ospreay versus Kevin Knight in the quarterfinals. We got that match at Dynasty. Excellent match.
Great opener. I loved the how Knight has been introduced. I think if you didn't know Kevin Knight before, you definitely know him now. Ospreay was so giving in that match. This is definitely Ospreay's tournament to lose. Like, it's all centered around him. The way that he's working, his energy. In that first match, you could feel like, oh, he's coming to win this thing.
Yeah, and that makes sense with the Dynamite right before the tournament started, and he pointed to the All In sign and was saying, I have to start my path to winning the title at All In. Yeah. And the easiest way to do that is winning this tournament. And based off the fact that it seems like we're veering away from all the Hangman and Swerve stuff, I do think that Ospreay is going to win this tournament.
Same here. Yeah, this is definitely the Will Ospreay show. I think he's gonna be the world champion at the end of this.
Yeah. We've also got Brody King versus Konosuke Takeshita coming up soon. I think that is tonight's match on Collision. Right? But excited for that. I wish Brody was not going against Takeshita because I don't see him winning that match. I really would like to see Brody last longer in this tournament. I really just want to see them give him a sustained push as a singles guy.
Me too.
But I'm sure the match tonight will be a lot of fun. I do think that Konosuke Takeshita is going to advance, but I mean, Takeshita versus Ospreay. I'm not gonna complain.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I want Brody King to win bad too. Like, I think that'd be a great position for him. But like Takeshita and Ospreay, that feels like a rematch that they want to get into, and we'll get that real soon. So I can't be mad at that. But the match tonight with Brody and Takeshita is going to be fire.
Yes. Then also we've got Mark Briscoe from this week as well. Sorry, Mark Briscoe from Dynasty, which was technically this week. Got Mark Briscoe versus Kyle Fletcher from Dynasty. That was also an excellent match.
Fletcher, bro, unbelievable where he's came from in the last year. His look, his gear, his confidence. But when the bell rings, Phil, this guy be going 1,000. Some of the strikes in this match, I'm like, does he really hate Mark Briscoe? Some of them kicks were right on the money, 100%. Super fire stuff. Mark Briscoe was insane in this. He's always insane. He's playing such a great TV wrestler. Like, if you need a quick 12 to 15, Mark Briscoe's gonna give you that. This match, that cutthroat driver that he hit on Kyle Fletcher was disgusting. Bunch of disgusting stuff in that, but like, as the same it feels for Will Ospreay, that's the same kind of energy that, again, Kyle Fletcher has. Like, he feels like he wants to win this tournament. It feels like there's nobody in the world that could beat him, and he's on the way to try to win this.
Yes. Last of the quarterfinal matches, Hangman Adam Page will be taking on a wild card, which we talked about. I'm pretty certain it's going to be Jack Perry. I'd be really shocked if it's not. That match has been announced, right? Is that the Dynamite match?
Wednesday, yeah. Wednesday at Dynamite is when the match is going to happen. Yeah, when they initially announced it, I was like, I don't know who it could potentially be. There's a couple of spots, a couple of people that were talked about. Yeah. But as the week has went on, I'm definitely like, oh, that's a Jack Perry spot for sure. Yeah,
there's no date for that match on here. So I'm assuming it's going to be Dynamite. Maybe it's going to be announced last minute, but there's no date on here.
I thought that they talked about it on Dynamite. I'm pretty sure they will on Collision tonight, at least.
Yes. But yeah, the men's bracket, very excited for some of these matchups. Like I said, Takeshita versus Ospreay in the semifinals should be a blast. I would love it if we were getting Kyle Fletcher versus Hangman. I don't think that's where we're heading. Because we haven't seen that iteration of this yet, and I think that would be a great semifinals match. But
that's a feud for later this year, at least.
I do think it'll be Ospreay in the finals. Who do you think is going to be his opponent?
Do you want to run him and Fletcher again when we just did that big blow-off cage match?
No.
I'm like, I wouldn't think so. But I'm at two places, Phil, because I feel like the Bucks are going to screw Hangman out of this match. But then there's also a part of me that feels like Hangman could get to the finals, and it could be Ospreay and Hangman in the finals still.
I think we're looking at Jack in the finals.
Yeah?
Because it's Ospreay, and if you're going to do the finals, you need a big heel for him to go up against in the finals. And I don't think that it's Hangman, and I don't think that it's the Fletcher match again. I think we're looking at Ospreay versus Jack Perry in the finals.
Yeah, I don't really see them running the Fletcher match again. I'm like, do you think they'll be able to get Jack to where he needs to be by that time?
I think the match will be good,
of course,
but I'm concerned.
That's all I'm saying. I'm like, I don't know. I see the vision. I hear what it could be, but I'm like, it's gonna be a hill to climb for the homie Jack, especially off of like the return is very important. Like I said, like we talked about earlier, if he comes back as scapegoat, same old shit, nobody's gonna care.
Yeah. The finals will be taking place, of course, at Double or Nothing. Changing it up this year and having the tournament start on a pay-per-view and end on a pay-per-view. I'm not sure if I'm the biggest fan of. I liked it better when it was just the TV matches, but at least it gives, some big presentation to both of the tournament matches. And, none of the tournament matches have been in Canada this year. It's an interesting choice. But, yeah, I definitely think we're heading towards Ospreay, Jack Perry finals, guys. I'm not sure how that will work, but, like I said, I do think the match will be fine.
It's Ospreay. Like Ospreay's gonna make it work. We'll probably be really excited and amped about it at the end of it. It's just like it's gonna be interesting. I have faith in Jack too. Come on, Jack.
Yeah, listen, I like Jack. So.
I like Jack Perry.
I think it'll be fine.
Big fan.
yeah, it should be fine. On the women's side,
I might be more excited about the women's side, honestly.
Me too. I think the field for the women. Yeah, I think the field for the women's side is actually better. We've got the opening match we got from Dynasty, Julia Hart taking on Mercedes Moné. Divisive match, but I enjoyed it.
People were so mad about this match, Phil. I was like, it's okay. Like I was saying on Ask Grapsody, I think there's some match. Every match doesn't have to be 100%. We hit every spot, everything works out. Sometimes when there's a little bit of a struggle, there's a little bit of like these people don't understand each other, trying to figure each other out. Those matches are kind of fun too. I think for the development of a young wrestler like Julia Hart, she's going to continue to run into stuff like this with AEW's structure of how they use their wrestlers, and a lot of them don't get as many reps as they can. You're going to get matches like this. I think Mercedes can't hit it out of the park 100% of the time, but I think it's fun to see her in elements like this.
Yeah. I was surprised how divisive the match was, but I thought it was fine. She, of course, moved on. Mercedes moved on to the semifinals. She's going to take on the winner of Harley Cameron versus Athena, which is going to be Athena. I mean,
that's tonight. Harley Cameron and Athena is going on to tonight, and the winner is going to face Mercedes on Wednesday in the big spring breakout show, the one that beats Nitro
in Boston.
Yeah,
I think that's a great choice to put on Mercedes versus Athena in Boston. That's a big one.
That's the main event. That's got to be the main event.
Got to be the main event, and with everything going on, and it's Boston. The last time you were in Boston was Mercedes. That was her debut, and coming back with this kind of match, it's got to be the main event.
Definitely.
But yeah, we got Jamie Hayter taking on Billy Starks as well. Quarterfinals match. I believe that's also tonight on Collision. Yep. And the winner of that will take on Chris Statlander, because Chris Statlander beat Thunder Rosa from this week's episode of Dynamite.
Yo, let me tell you guys, if you haven't seen Dynamite this week, this was one of my favorite Thunder Rosa's performances that I've seen. She was in hoop mode. Like they were like, all right, Thunder, we just need you to go out there and just bang. Go. Like she was hitting some crazy lucha spots. She felt extra confident. Like this is the best that I think I've seen her maybe in her old AEW run. She just felt like the Thunder Rosa that I know and we all know and love. That's what it felt like. It feels like a lot of times we don't get this person, but I'm so happy that we did. Statlander is also amazing and played a huge role in this, but I was just so blown away by Thunder's performance. Great match from both ladies. Stat's one of my favorite wrestlers in all of AEW, and the way that she uses her strength and her confidence and the way that she moves about in the ring is one of the best. I'm really excited. That was just a great match for me.
Yeah, I think Thunder Rosa has been trying to find her footing since she came back from that injury. And, she's had bright spots here and there, but you could see some of the ring rust. I thought she looked great on Wednesday as well. But I also think that's a testament to how great Statlander is. Everybody they put in there with Statlander has looked tremendous.
Usually people's best match in AEW is against Stat. Like, that's just how it works.
Yeah, she's just a great wrestler. Very much looking forward to what I'm assuming will be Jamie Hayter versus Statlander in the semifinals. That's a big match. Very excited for that. And Jamie Hayter versus Billy Stark should be a fun one tonight as well.
You got Jamie on that side?
Yeah, I think Jamie's going to move on to the finals. I think the finals will be Jamie Hayter versus Mercedes.
Wow. That match at Double or Nothing. I think Jamie's been waiting for an opportunity like this, and to get a match in this big finals against Mercedes, I think is going to be awesome. Yeah, the match tonight with Billy Starks, I think their last match was awesome, her and Jamie Hayter. Billy Starks has been awesome and great in all of the positions she's been put in. I think tonight they're going to do it again. And yeah, that main event and that finals, I think is really great for AEW, really great for women's wrestling, and really just great for the Owen Hart tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I could see them running back Statlander Mercedes, because I do think we'll get a third match with them. I just don't think it'll
too.
happen here. Because if you're gonna do the third match, I just don't think you should do it and just have Statlander lose again, because I don't think the Mercedes is gonna lose. I think Mercedes is gonna win this tournament.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm of two minds here because I think there's a place to do the Statlander match again. I just don't think they should do it here.
No, because I'm on the same side as you. I think Statlander should win the next one, and
yes,
she's not going to win the tournament.
Yes, Jamie needs the big win more.
Right.
So I think Jamie winning in the semifinals and making it to the finals. She's been due a big pay-per-view match like this for a while, and even if she doesn't win a tournament, just putting her in this position is long overdue.
Mm-hmm. I think they're going to tear it up. Like her and Mercedes are on this collision course, it feels like, because Jamie was one of those when we kind of went through the roster on who we were excited to see Mercedes against in AEW. Jamie's was at the top of the list. So I'm really excited to see, with some time, with the pay-per-view atmosphere and the space, they're going to destroy it.
Yes. And Jamie has the most motivation to win this because she's been kept out of the world title picture. Of course, the person that cost her title when she was champion was Toni Storm. Mm-hmm. And so she's got a grind to axe to grind. Got that backwards. Sorry. Dyslexia, I guess. Sorry. Had to axe to grind with Toni. So it makes a lot of sense for Jamie to make it to the finals and win. But I don't think she's going to win, guys. No. I think Mercedes is going to win this tournament.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is Mercedes' tournament to lose, just like Ospreay. Like, she's on her way. If there's a belt, she's getting that belt. Like, this is all hers. And that's going to lead to some epic showdown, I think, with Toni Storm. So this is all great for the women's division. I think everybody's going to continue to kill it, and everybody's going to continue to do well in their positions.
Yeah, just prepare for it, guys. I think that she's going to be standing up there with her 4 belts and the cup and the Owen belt as well, with the CEO chant music going on, and she's hitting the. It's time, baby. Get ready.
Everybody gonna be mad too. They're gonna be so mad. Oh, she doing it again, Mercedes Hogan. Yes, motherfucker.
Prepare yourself, because I do think it's about to happen.
Yeah. But we're gonna get Mercedes and Athena match out of that on Wednesday. So we've been waiting.
Yeah, what do you think about them using that as the semifinals match and not the finals match?
I honestly thought it was going to be the finals, when I thought they were going to be on either side of the bracket. So it did get to this. Like, I thought that they would put bigger fanfare on it, but that could just be us fantasy booking ourselves, like we always seem to do. Just because I feel like that's what I wanted. Doesn't feel like that what needed to happen. Like, the match is going to be insane on Wednesday, and I think there's definitely going to be more, but I kind of figured it would be the finals.
Tony has shown us in the tournaments that he doesn't really like to do shenanigans in the finals of the tournament. For the most part, when people win a tournament, they win it clean. Yes. And so my theory is that she is going to cheat to beat Athena. And that's going to set up the rematch. And that's why I don't think that it's going to get to the finals. I don't think he wanted to do that kind of angle.
You're right.
Where she cheated in the finals. I think if Mercedes wins, I think she's going to win the finals clean against Jamie. Mm-hmm. But they've been setting up this thing of, Athena has minions. Well, I kind of like this person over here. And if I trained Billy, she would be farther along. I think this is setting up the Renegade Twins or one of them helping her win the match in Boston, and that's how she's going to advance. And then if she does win in the finals, she's going to win clean.
That makes a lot of sense. You're right on the money, because it is always, they try to add the most prestige to the finals, and it's like it's just the 2 wrestlers in there going bar for bar, foot for foe, no interruptions, no plunder, no nothing. It's just about the tournament. So yeah, I see that too. I think that Mercedes isn't going to just walk over Athena at all. I think she's going to barely get out of there, and she's going to cheat to do it. And it's going to set up another big match for them somewhere here in the future.
Yes. Now, if you are fantasy booking this, I think the move is to give Athena a big shock win over Toni Storm before All In. And so that the match at All In is Mercedes versus Athena.
Okay,
That's at least how I would get there, but I could also totally understand if this is heading towards Mercedes versus Toni Storm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think if you're putting all your best feet forward, you're putting all the biggest superstars, like that's the match to book with the women. But I could, like, they built, or it feels like they've been building, and what the press conference was for All In, see Athena and Mercedes doing it. So
yeah, I would be shocked if Athena is not on the card for All In.
I'd be mad.
I think she kind of has to be. Like this.
I mean, there is also, they announced All In week. They're doing the
That's
Before
right.
Dishonor ROH show that
That's
same week.
That's true. Maybe she's gonna lose the title at Death Before Dishonor, or she's gonna have a match at Death Before Dishonor.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That could be true. I don't know.
Yeah, like I could see that could be the Billy Starks thing. Like I'm like, she needs to be on that All In show. But if they could justify it by having her main event the ROH show and try to say that that's it, you know?
Yeah. The other reason I think Mercedes is winning is because I think it's just time for her to move up to the world title. I think as good as this TBS title run has been, she's kind of outgrown that belt. I think it's just time to move on.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she's going to eventually drop some of the other belts as well.
Yeah, this is kind of surprising to me because I felt like there was a moment that at this Double or Nothing show, Willow was going to get her get back and maybe be the one to beat Mercedes for the championship. And I'm surprised she's not kind of in the mix with that. But I still think at some point Willow is going to be the one to beat her for that TBS championship. I just don't know where now.
Yeah, that's what I had assumed the Double or Nothing match was going to be until they announced that the Owen was going to be there. And I'm like, no, I think Mercedes is going to win this thing and be in the finals.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Going to be great regardless.
Yeah. Do we think Toni has a match at Double or Nothing?
She should. I mean, with how they've been booking her recently, Phil, and like how a lot of the dynamites are kind of surrounding her, like they make sure to focus on her moments in the show and how the pay-per-views have been going. Like I feel like they're going to feature her on every pay-per-view moving forward, right? They should at least.
Yeah, maybe it's the Megan match. Maybe Megan gets a rematch.
Run it back. Yeah, I could see that, especially with how they're still kind of building Megan and how they're talking about that segment this week. She looked amazing. Like I think that there's still space for her to have that.
Yes.
The Owen. Good shiz.
I think we have some more super chats. Yeah, we do.
Grapple Geekery says the IWC Internet Wrestling Company trademark it. AEW, Tony Khan, get on it.
Isn't there a company already called IWC?
I think there is.
It just doesn't stand for that.
No, I think it's like International Wrestling Council, maybe.
I think it's like Irish or something wrestling. Isn't there? I think there's an international company called IWC.
A couple of them.
Yeah.
But trademark it, Tony Khan. Forget those companies. Thanks, Grapple Geekery, for everything today. Corey MacArthur says, what's up, fellas? Great show so far. How is the dopest rapper Righteous Reg doing and the Phil the Man doing? Cena, Cody, Punk Rollins, Reigns, Tiffany, Charlotte, and Jay Gunther. I'm invested.
Yeah, I think the big matches, they feel like WrestleMania matches, but it does feel like a very top-heavy WrestleMania card.
Yeah, it's just like with the rest of the stuff, I think is kind of the issue. Like, I think those matches, even if like not the best build, are like WrestleMania in WrestleMania style matches, and they should be on there. It's just the rest of the stuff that feels like Raw cards.
Yeah, and I would bet, because they usually do this when they book these kind of cards, they usually over deliver. I would bet the matches that we are assuming are going to deliver, like the women's matches, I think they're going to deliver. I think the triple threat for the Women's World Championship is going to deliver. I do think that the night one main event is going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
And Jay Gunther is going to deliver. Jay's going to get his moment, but just feels top heavy. That's all.
Yep, that's it. Tenruza says, Righteous Reg and Blue Man Phil just here saying Luther was glorious and the most visually brilliant video I've seen in a while. Love to the ace of New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yes.
The ace. Go Ace. Did you get to meet Go Ace, or is it today?
Gonna attempt to today.
Oh, that's what's up. Thanks, Tenruza.
We got a few more from Tenruza.
He also says, also may the Young Bucks back in New Japan never stop. It is great. Phil, you go on with Reg to Resurgence. I want Kingston's return match and Mox back in New Japan.
Yeah, I think I'm going to Resurgence. Me and Emilio were already talking about going beforehand, so I may go. I don't know.
Yeah, if my homies are showing up, I'm definitely going to be there. I'm going to be there regardless, I think, with the Young Bucks announcing their stuff. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a fun show. The New Japan shows out there are always fun anyways.
Yeah, I think, Denise was saying she might go as well this morning. So,
nice.
There you go.
Exciting. He also says, need a West Side track featuring Righteous Reg, please. I mean, nothing in the world would make me happier. So, I wish.
He'll be out of here, bro.
If you guys haven't checked out the PWI, there's already been a new one. The last PWI, I did an article on Fourth Rope and West Side Gun and Smoke Dizza and everything involved in that. The newest PWI, also a cheap plug if you haven't checked out, there's a Righteous wrap up on the man known as Ricochet. I talked a little bit about his new transition into AEW and what's that all about. So definitely check those out.
Yeah. They're saying in the chat I might be thinking of ICW.
Oh yeah, ICW.
Yeah, with Insane Championship Wrestling, right? Yeah. We got one more for Tenruza.
Tenruza also says, lastly, check out Mustard's Coachella set was good.
I haven't seen
Coachella is happening right now.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of the Coachella sets.
Me neither. Usually,
I'm not really a Coachella guy, so
yeah, me neither. They don't usually have too many of the things that I want to see.
Yeah, I just still think about Andre up there, like confused at that crowd. Like, what is this? Like, this how y'all giving it up?
Yeah, I still can't believe Coachella got fucking outcast, but money.
Yeah, that's usually how that goes. So yeah, a few more Humperchats. I think I read that one already. From Tony P says, again, overall, fine show Wednesday. Windy City with a fun show. I had a feeling the draw was coming with Azumi and Mina. I wonder if some of this will spill into AEW. Ishii Gabe was good. Congrats to the new champ. Love the love Tana and Goto received post-match.
Well, you were at the show, Phil. Should we get into it?
Yeah, fun night in the city of Chicago. Windy City Riot emanated from Wintrust Arena near the South Side. Can't say it's really South Side. It's really close to the downtown area. Yeah, you got to be careful what areas you call what areas because these things mean something.
They do. They hold a lot of weight.
Yeah, but fun show. I was excited for this show once it was announced that this was going to be the Ace's final appearance in the U.S. Just wild to think about like what this guy's meant to New Japan Pro Wrestling. I've come on here several times and said that I'm a big New Japan fan and thinking like his last U.S. match is going to be here in my hometown. Like,
wild.
What? Of course I'll be there. But yeah, started off pretty good. I did not see the pre-show match. Zane J taking on ZJ Tino for the Strong Survivor in the Strong Survivor match. I'm sure it was fun. Did not see it. So I have nothing on that one, but I'm sure it was fun.
Yep.
Show officially kicked off with TJP taking on Tom Lawler. Big fan of Filthy Tom. What a great wrestler. Can do all the hard hitting stuff and also do comedy bits. Just an incredibly entertaining guy. And this was a fun match. TJP picked up the win here. Not a big surprise here because they've been really pushing TJP to the forefront with United Empire. I think he's got contract situation coming up soon. Curious to see if he ends up staying with New Japan.
Seems like a lot of contract things are coming up recently. Them deals a couple of years ago are all making their way. But I think everybody in that kind of status has been upping their game. So like I expect TJP to get some good shit.
Yes. Then we had the women's match. Mina Shirakawa took on Azumi. It's been fun for me to watch the New Japan fan base be more and more accepting of the women's matches. I think that that's gone a long way for them doing it on these New Japan Strong shows. And I think that's helped with the acceptance in Japan as well when they do put the women on those cards. So love to see that advancement for women's wrestling. Mina Shirakawa, of course, massive star. Fans were very much excited to see her. She was great. This match was fun. I can't say that I was the biggest fan of this finish.
Yeah, what is this finish?
Yeah, ended up with a double count out. Yeah, I didn't really like it, but I understand what they're doing. This is just to set up the triple threat with Mercedes for New Japan Pro Wrestling Resurgence.
I like that. The getting there though.
This kind of feels like to me the way to get the belt off of Mercedes. I would not be shocked at all if Mina ends up pinning Azumi, and that's how she wins the belt. Which
Mercedes doesn't have to get pinned.
She doesn't have to take a loss, which I kind of don't like because I think you should just give whoever is the next champion the win over Mercedes. But
because that holds a lot of weight too. It isn't just about having her belt. It's like, oh, I beat Mercedes and I have the belt. But then like that doesn't. I don't think Mercedes taking a pin and losing her championship in New Japan affects what happens in AEW. But that's another story, you know.
Yeah, I don't think they should do that. But I'm assuming that's why we're getting the triple threat because I can't see any other reason why you would do that. But I enjoyed the match up to that point. I just wasn't the biggest fan of the outcome.
Yeah, and I think that last time Mercedes was in a triple threat, it was fire, and like it's gonna be dope. But yeah, double count out to get to it. No, not really the greatest way.
Yeah, Azumi was also in that match as well. That was a triple threat match, I believe, at Sakura Genesis. I could be wrong. Might have been on a Stardom show, but yeah, I wish we weren't doing that. But I kind of feel like this is the way to get the belt off of Mercedes. We had the World Class Wrecking Crew up next against the Jet Setters, Kevin Knight and Kushida. This was great. I love the Wrecking Crew. They're so fun. They were getting booed, buddy. They had heat, man.
California, baby.
They were getting booed. Kevin Knight is still Kevin Knight. Just seeing this guy live and just seeing how he just like hangs in the air is just incredible. Kushida still legendary junior heavyweight. I love this match. Yeah,
shout out to the homie Kevin Knight who this week announced that he signed 2 contracts. That he actually signed another contract with New Japan alongside signing his AEW contract. Well deserved. I love that he's going to be able to do both. Just because, like I was talking about earlier with Julia and some of the AEW wrestlers, just going to be able to get him more reps. If he's not featured on Dynamite, then he could be featured on New Japan. Like it just makes more sense. I wish more wrestlers had dope 2 contracts like that.
Yeah, and this fits with what he tweeted at one point when all the reports were coming out about him leaving New Japan, and he was like, "Man, y'all know more about my career than I do. Like, y'all telling me some stuff I don't know, I guess." And so that lines up, and then also he's going to be in the Best of Super Juniors as well. Yep. So it makes sense for him to have 2 contracts here. Hey, man, get your money.
Straight up.
Excited for that because he deserved it.
Black man in New Japan, like there's a lot of greatness in that.
Yeah, and glad we're going to see more of him on TV. And yeah, he's not done with his New Japan run because I would like to see him win the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship someday.
Me too.
So then we got probably the best match of the night, I would argue. Tomohiro Ishii took on Gabe Kid in a 30-minute Iron Man match. This is the blow-off to their feud that started earlier this year. They've had 2 great matches on the New Japan Strong cards earlier to start this year. This still feels like the year of Gabe following his match with Kenny Omega to start in January. He's been tremendous this year. He came out. That crowd loved this guy coming out. The more the match went on, he kept healing it up. That crowd changed their mind. and booed the hell out of this man. There were several points where I was like, "Oh, this changed."
Yes,
The energy changed.
the mark of a truly great heel is using all that good heat that he has to turn it into bad heat. Like, I think Gabe is one of the best at doing that because, like, he's naturally one guy that you want to cheer just with his charisma and how he moves and how he talks shit. But he doesn't want to be cheered, dude. He wants to be booed. He's a heel.
Yeah, I mean, he's a war dog. He's
Mm-hmm.
hanging out with David Finlay. They're bad guys. So yeah, he's definitely gotten over huge because of the Kenny Omega match and because he's just so charismatic and fun to watch. But no, still a bad guy. And it's Tomohiro Ishii. Ishii is in that lane with Goto. He's just beloved for his time period with this company. The matches that he's given us over the years, and
how does he still do it, Phil? Like, he still like feels like he's at a high level, you know?
yeah, just man, the strikes in this match, the back and forth. This was honestly one of the best live matches I've been there for. And actually, I feel like there's another Ishii match I've seen in person where I'm like, bro, I can't. It might have been the first Windy City Riot. He wrestled Suzuki on that card, and that match in person was just amazing. And this was the same thing. The crowd bid on all the near falls. I mean, this was the loudest this crowd was getting throughout the night was during the near falls when he started healing it up and people started to side with Ishii and boo him. It just got louder and louder. So when you got the first pinfall of the night, it was just like, oh no, it's looking like he's going to retain, which would have got a reaction. But man, the reaction when Ishii tied it up, crazy. It got, I mean, you look around that place and it felt like everybody was jumping out of their seats at the same time. Match ended up ending in a draw because double count out again. And I was like, okay. Now, this is where I'll say, doing a double count out with the women worked out because people were ready to be mad at this because you already did it. But this led to sudden death. Gabe Kid broke back in there to restart the match. The ending sequence of this match was so good because, again, the crowd bit on everything. Very, very fun match towards the end. Of course, Ishii picked up the win. He is the new Japan Strong Open champion. Man, love this match. Seeing it in person, I think, just made it even better.
It feels like this match was enhanced by the Chicago crowd. Chicago, historically hot for wrestling. Just give them good wrestling, and they will be the sixth man, as they say.
Yeah. Sometimes 6-man and things like the stuff from last week. You give us a chance to cut up. We're going to cut up.
It's the duality of the Chicago fan, you know?
Yeah, but man, I definitely think this was one of my favorite live matches I've ever been in attendance for.
That's awesome.
This was, man, a blast. And their first two matches were so enjoyable. So I knew this match was going to hit, but man, just the way that it was put together, New Japan does these kind of matches really better than anybody. The way they pace the long matches, then the build up is just nobody does it better than them, in my opinion.
That's what no other wrestling company could take away from New Japan. No matter what, you can't pace matches like that. You can't build anticipation for big spots in matches. Like, they just do it way different than everybody else. What do you make of them taking the belt off of Gabe Kid? What do you think that leads to next for him?
I think it was time because you want to move him up into the other title pictures with New Japan. It's time to get him in there with like the global championship and some of the other mid card belts. It just felt like it was time, and you can get a lot of mileage out of Ishii as a traveling wrestler in the U.S. with that belt as well.
Definitely, especially with like how often he's featured on AEW TV. He's in America often throughout the year, so it makes sense for him to be involved in this. And like you said, he still can go. He's still super over. He still has that. Every New Japan crowd loves Ishii no matter what.
Yes. We got a tag match up next. LIJ, the team of Tetsuya Naito and Teton, taking on El Fantasma and Rocky Romero. When they say big match charisma, there's Tetsuya Naito and everybody else. Yes. I don't care what you say about this guy as an in-ring performer. the energy in the building when that guy walks in, the way it looks on TV absolutely translates to a live crowd. I've been in a few crowds seeing him wrestle now, and this guy's energy, this guy's aura, just off the charts. This guy is just amazing. And just in a throwaway match like this, he's still Naito.
I feel like how people talk about the Moxley stuff with Naito, of like, I understand what you're saying online. I understand all this, but in the live crowd, when you go to a New Japan show, the merch, the way people act when he's shown on the screen, Naito's way different than everybody else. Like, to New Japan fans, he's a huge star. No matter, they don't care about his matches, they don't care about any of that. This guy's a big star, and you can feel the energy in the air. At every show I've ever been to where he's present, you can feel it when he comes out.
Yes. But yeah, this was basically a throwaway match. Teton getting his spots in, looks great. Clean. His rope walk that he does, clean. Rocky and El Phantasmo doing bits. The back and forth between Naito, where they're doing the tranquilo pose at the beginning of the match, all fun stuff. But yeah, to nobody's surprise, LIJ picked up the win here. I assume they're leading to something with Naito. Maybe he's going to be one of those challengers for Goto, because this Goto title run has felt like him getting a bunch of the matches with people that he never managed to beat. Right. And this is the perfect time to do that kind of match with Naito later on this year. So I assume that's where Naito is eventually going to end up.
That's fun. I mean, it's not going to be the greatest match of all time, but him kind of going on this run of who we know that he's traveled these roads with in New Japan and the guys that were there from the beginning, I think makes a lot of sense to do. So I expected them to eventually do a Naito match.
Yes. Zack Sabre versus David Finlay. God, just so good. These two guys, man, just fantastic wrestlers. Finlay coming out, and then Zack Sabre still coming out with his remixed punk rock music, and he immediately got in the ring and jumped in Finlay's face. They're doing the push aparts and stuff. The wrestling in this match, though, the man, some of the holds, some of the transitions, just the sequence alone to get to the finish where they're countering each other's finisher. So good, man. David Finlay is one of the best wrestlers in his company, guys.
David Finlay really has taken a lot of this stuff on his back and just been like, I'm going to carry this stuff. Talk to people about if you've never seen Zack Sabre Jr. in live before. Like, it's like seeing him on TV is like, okay, that's fun. But when you see him doing that shit live and turning the fool into a pretzel live, how different is it?
I mean, it's not just how great he is live now, but watching him go from the guy that was like one of the members of Suzuki-gun that could like wrap you up in pretzel. We already knew he was an amazing technical wrestler. There's a reason why he's won the Bryan Danielson Award multiple years in a row.
Yes.
At this point, the best technical wrestler in the world.
Yes.
We know that part. But the thing that is astonishing to me at this point is just watching him become a legitimate main eventer. Just watching the way he walks in a room, the way he commands the crowd now. This guy spent a lot of time as a heel. And when he was coming out there and like the way the crowd got up for him, even after the match when he was walking away and he was like stopping to like take pictures with people, I'm like, when did this happen? When did this guy turn into this?
Right.
It's just different, man. I think he's going to get another big title reign because the guy is just, it feels like he's just undeniable. I don't know when, but it just feels like it because he's got it. He's just got this. He's got the entire package just to this point. He talks well. He wrestles incredibly well. He gets in the ring. He can do a lot with just facial expressions and like.
And he carries the flag for New Japan too. He loves him some New Japan.
Yeah, he's incredible. David Finlay has been on an amazing run of matches. Most of his New Japan Cup matches were really good. I think he pulled the best match out of Shota Umino this year. And even the Goto match at Sakura Genesis, also very good. This match was no different. These two guys, man, incredible.
When do you think David Finley's gonna win the big one too eventually?
I don't know.
That one's a little bit harder, huh?
I don't know. I think there was an argument at one point to give him the win at Secure Genesis, but they're doing such good business with Goto, and he's so popular right now that I just couldn't buy him winning. And it's kind of the same thing here and moving forward. I'm telling you, I wouldn't be surprised if Goto holds this belt all the way to the Dome. Like, I would not be shocked at all.
Right. I think with every response that I've seen in every show that I've seen him be a part of as champion, like I think that every show I'm like, oh yeah, they're gonna keep going with this. Like maybe if it was gonna be a short thing, like this is the type of pivot that you do. Like it's like, okay, no, he's cooking. The crowds love him. We're getting big houses. Like he's carrying the flag for New Japan as the top guy. Like we might need to continue this.
Yeah. Zeno Hour. Yeah. David Finlay is balling out like this in a contract year. They got to pay this guy. They got to pay this guy.
Contract years, man. These people are going to war. Again, if anybody has earned a big contract, David Finlay, for all the stuff that he's did in his spot, 100%.
We got Hiroki Goto versus Shota Umino up next. This had a lot of speculation behind it, had a lot of hype behind it because Shota's last world title match at the Dome was divisive to say the least. So putting him back in the world title picture this soon, giving him a match against Goto, it was an interesting choice. I didn't know how I felt about it even after Sakura Genesis. That crowd and Ryogoku was not happy, and you can see they were trying to warm themselves up to the idea to it, but nobody really wanted this match. I mean, if we're being really honest, it kind of felt like, who is this for? It kind of like, if you're going to give him another title match, you didn't want to do it in front of the Japanese crowd, so maybe do it here in the US. But I just don't see the U.S. crowd. I don't think really wanted it either.
No,
I just don't see
US
what it
crowd might want it even less than the Japanese crowd, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, and I think with the way you're trying to repackage him after the loss to Zack Sabre, it kind of felt too soon. It felt like you should like do the character stuff and define who he is now before you put him back in the world championship.
Right. His character hasn't even been fleshed out yet.
Yeah. So, if you're going to turn him, go ahead and turn him. If you're going to stick to the babyface stuff, then do that. But I think you've got to make that decision before you keep trying to put this guy in world championship matches. And I think because of that, this match suffered. I did not think this match was very good. Damn. And I was surprised watching it. Like, I am not enjoying this because Goto has been incredible. Goto came out, and again, people love this guy. Got a great reaction from the Chicago crowd. But then the match started, and it grinded to this slow halt with like the holds. And I was like, man, get to it. What's going on? And just the more the match went on, I was just like, I just don't know who this is for. I just don't get it.
Shota's still not laying it in, I'm guessing.
Yeah, still having those strike exchanges where it's like, bro, lay them strikes in, bro, lay them forearms in. And he hits a great lariat. There were parts of the match that you could see the bright spots, which I've been saying all year with Shota. Like, bro, you can see it. There are glimmers here where it just doesn't feel like he's ready for the position they're putting him in.
Right.
I don't think that he's a bad wrestler. I don't think that he can't eventually get it together. But I just think it was too soon to put him in this match.
And they're like being stubborn about it too, because like Wrestle Kingdom was like 3 months ago. Like it hasn't been a long time. Like it's still fresh in our mind of that match essentially. And it feels like they're like, well, let's try it again. And it's like the try it again didn't really, the vibe.
This definitely feels like the stubborn, this is our guy. We're behind him, just accept it thing. And I just don't think it's working. I don't think it's
starting to be that thing like what Roman ran into was like it's affecting him because you guys are trying to shove him down our throats.
Yes, I think that this match would have been more well received if it didn't have all of this negative buzz around it from the way that the Wrestle Kingdom match or the way his G1 run went last year. There's so many positions you're putting him in, and he's just not rising to that occasion yet. And again, it's not because I don't think that he can. It's not that I don't think that he cares. I think that he does, because he clearly puts too much into this for me to believe that he doesn't care. But it was too soon to put him in a world championship match again.
Mm-hmm. He's still improving. He still needs to flesh out his character. He still needs to figure out who he is. Like, he's still trying to figure it out, and they're putting him in main events and big stories, and he's still trying to find out who he is as a wrestler. And it's not his fault, you know?
Yeah, I think they've just got to just go with the heel turn, man. Just turn him heel. And I mean, there's bits of this that he does, like the way he lands the Busaiku knee and the new finisher. I enjoy all of that. I think that ended up working well for him in the New Japan Cup. But yeah, this was not a fan of this match. I would go on to say I like this match a lot less than I like the Wrestle Kingdom match. And I thought the Wrestle Kingdom match wasn't great, but I didn't think it was bad. I didn't think it was terrible. This match, I was sitting there most of the time like, I don't know, guys. Where are we going with this?
Damn, and this is the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Like, there's prestige behind this. There's a lot behind this.
Yeah. I'm glad that this did not go on last, because that would have been
they knew.
That would have been a disaster putting this match on last. And it just didn't make sense with the way that the show was built. This was built as Tanahashi's last U.S. match that has to go on last.
Right.
But yeah, the match was what it was. Goto picked up the win. Afterwards, he got on the mic and said, "Thank you. I don't speak English, but I love you guys." And the crowd went crazy for him. Man, and people loved this guy.
Yeah.
And it'd be one of those things if it felt like this was one of those, charity retirement type matches of like, why not? Let's just put the belt on Goto. How much time does he have left? Let's just give him that one reign. But because it's worked out so well, man, it just makes me so happy for him, because you could have easily seen this as that, like, well, why not Goto? We don't have Tanahashi at the level he was. We don't have Okada. We don't have Naito at the level he was anymore. Why not just give Goto a spot? But man, Goto he's lived up to that spot, man. As a draw, as a character, man, like, this is some of the best work he's ever done, in my opinion.
Yeah, and he shouldn't have to hide behind the shadow of this one match, because that's not his fault.
This is the only match of his reign so far that I haven't liked. I think the rest of this reign, his defenses have been really good.
Do you think this match would have worked out better in Japan? Or was it still just to show the thing regardless?
No, I think it would have gotten booed heavily in Japan. Yeah. I mean, Shota was getting booed here, but I think it would have gotten booed heavily in Japan.
So they knew. They were like, let's put it over here. It won't be as bad as it would be.
I definitely got the feeling that they knew. We're putting him in a second world title match within 4 months. We cannot do that in Japan. Let's do it over here and treat it almost like it's a house show type thing.
Right.
Get it out of the way. And if it's just that, to give him the reps in there and like keep trying to see how he can live up to the moment, I get that. But yeah.
I want the world title. You can't be taking chances with the world title, you guys. We got to do something else.
Yeah.
Because I'm on the, like, we should keep trying, and we should, like, if this is our guy, we should try to make him our guy. But, like, at the expense of the world title, I probably wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I'm still not selling my Shota stock quite yet. I do think he can get there, but boy, the stuff in this match made it hard to defend him, man. Because I don't think that this was very good. But ended the night with Konosuke Takeshita taking on Tanahashi, and man, the reception for Takeshita is what it is, because he's been on an incredible run for about a year at this point, both in New Japan and in America. He's just having phenomenal matches everywhere he goes. Just special. I mean, you can't. That's all I think every time I think about it. This guy is just special. And seeing him when he comes out, still has like the energy. Still your champion. I was laughing because I took a picture of him while he's doing his entrance, and people kept pointing out to me. You could see in the corner Kyle Fletcher doing a selfie with Takeshita behind him. So if you look at it's funny. It's almost like one of those weird, like different perspectives things they used to put in books. If you look at his picture on Twitter of him taking his selfie, you can see me all the way in the background in the stands taking my picture. But in my picture, you can see him doing a selfie.
It's picture inception with Kyle Fletcher.
Yeah. But yeah, man, before he even walked out there, you could hear the Go Ace chants, and when he came out, just well deserved. Cool to see him getting his flowers, man, because this is Tanahashi, one of the Three Musketeers, one of the guys that saved this company. That is no exaggeration. Propelled this company into the future, made New Japan one of the hottest products in around that 2017, 2015 period. That was off of the backs of the work that he made. Okada and the Okada shock does not happen if Tanahashi is not the recognizable name in that company. And
facts.
I mean, the run Okada went on and being one of the greatest modern champions, that's off of starting the building blocks of having the rivalry with Tanahashi. Yeah, he just means so much to this company, man, like in a lot of ways. So it's just still unbelievable to think this guy is retiring in the same year that John Cena is retiring. It's just
unbelievable,
surreal. But just being in a building and thinking like he's really wrapping it up, I was just like, I don't know how to feel about this. It was emotional, man. Like the match itself was very good because it's Takeshita, incredible wrestler, but Tanahashi still got something in the tank. I mean, I know the knees are not what they were, but man, the last two matches I've seen him in, he's been great. I thought the Shota match from Sakura Genesis was great, mostly because of him as well. He still has it in terms of psychology and how to put together
an amazing storyteller, regardless.
Yes, and we got that in this match in spades. I mean, man, Takeshita at one point does his pose where he gets up on the top rope. He landed that knee he does, and then he got up on the top rope and did his pose and did a high fly flow, and I was like, how dare you?
Disrespect.
How dare you? Pins him. Tanahashi comes flying out of this pin, because I was like, yeah, goddamn right, you don't do that to our ace. There's just so many other great moments like that. Takeshita ended up hitting him with like 4 knee strikes to try to put him down. He kicked out of that as well. But of course, he hit him with that great spinning Falcon Arrow he does. And Takeshita picked up the win to no surprise. At the end, he shook his hand while he was laying on the mat, had a show of respect. Because again, this company is where it is because of him. Because he lifted this company up on his back. Yeah. And so, yeah, that was just emotional to see. Emotional to see him getting beaten this way. But again, this wrestling in your retirement year, this is usually how it goes. You're going to go out on your back. On the way out, Takeshita bumped into LP. Seems like that might be the next big match for him. That could be a fun one. But he got up out of there. And then, you know, the Hantai guys and the rest of the wrestlers came down to the ring and started the thank you Ace chant. And again, emotional. Him standing in a ring with a microphone, I was like, nah, I don't like this.
You can't leave. You have to stay, Tanahashi. Yeah, there was a time where I probably hadn't watched or heard about New Japan legit in like 5 or 6 years. Like it just wasn't on the radar. And I still was watching wrestling like I do. I still was obsessed with it. But I just continuously, every time I would get on the internet, I started hearing about Tanahashi. And I started hearing about Tanahashi and Okada, and they were like, you have to watch these matches. And so, like, I hadn't watched New Japan for like 6 years and started watching it again because of this guy. So, like, for it to get to this point, and that's so funny that you say about the Cena thing, because people were comparing him to John Cena the whole time. They were always saying that they wanted to see these guys have a dream match. And for them to both be retiring in the same year, one, I feel like I'm 100 years old, but two, it's just crazy that we've gotten to this point where these two legendary figures are going out at the same time and having the same type of careers. It's just crazy.
Yeah, but yeah, man, Shinsuke Nakamura, that feud he had with him.
Yep.
Yeah, just so many great memories with this guy. So again, seeing him here in Chicago with a mic and waving to the crowd and saying, giving his speech, and he legitimately almost did the All Might thing where All Might is losing his power, and he puts his fist up at the end and he points back to Deku. And it's like, it's your time. I'm sure there are people that do not watch My Hero Academia that has no idea what I'm talking about. But it very much felt like that because at one point he was like, don't worry about New Japan. And he starts pointing around and he's like, because this person's here, that person's here, and this person's here. And again, emotional because what he represents to this company, and for him as president to go, hey, I'm not going anywhere. I'm still going to be a part of this company. And New Japan is still going to be great because all of these people are still here. And it's just like, man, emotional in my feelings, man.
Yeah, because it's not how wrestling works in general. It's like, there was a time where there was a whole guard of people that existed in New Japan and kind of led the way. And then those guys left, and then Tanahashi replaced those guys. And like now somebody's going to replace him. It's just a circle of wrestling life. And for him to help and put stock into all the new guys, he's continuously trying to push the new guys. I think it's super important. But that's probably one of the best parts is like, he's still going to be here. Like he's not going to be wrestling, but he's still going to be very prevalent and very present on the New Japan shows just because of how important he plays to the company.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he's retiring in such a transitional period for New Japan as well. There was a lot of gloom and doom around New Japan at one point, especially coming out of the pandemic. And I think that they're getting back to a good period, and then they're getting back to this period, and Tanahashi's retiring, and you know, Naito is where he is. It's like there's only a matter of time before Naito retires as well. It's just change, man. I don't like change.
Getting old, man. Getting old.
But yeah, what a great send off for him. This was amazing. Glad that I was able to be there in person to see it. Yeah, one of those like incredible wrestling moments that I'm never gonna forget. His last match in the US, and
so dope.
It was here. Just really happy about that.
Shout out to the Ace. I might not be it for me. Might be planning a trip to somewhere in January.
You might be heading to Japan.
Been talking about it. I've been wanting to for a long time, so this might be it.
Might be the year to do it. This is gonna be his last Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah, I mean,
which sounds crazy. Yeah.
So yeah, the Ace. Good show. Good shit. For it to be in Chicago is important too, because Chicago has always had an affinity for Tanahashi too. I don't know why I'm connecting you guys to Tanahashi for some reason, but it feels like you guys have always had a connection. It's weird.
What? It's just funny. Just like if nothing else, Chicago wrestling fans are wrestling fans, and they, you know, they respect Tanahashi. When you tie him to Cena, you would think, okay, you guys don't usually like these kind of wrestlers. But it's just there's an earnestness to Tanahashi that it's hard not to respect. He just feels genuine. It doesn't feel like, even if you can argue his push feels contrived, he never feels like he's contrived.
No,
he is who he is. He's gonna give you the air guitar. He's gonna give you the big hair. He's gonna come out with like the big muscles. It's just, I don't know. It's just none of it feels put on, even though it should, because it's such a larger than life thing.
But it just feels like he's been doing his thing the whole time. We feel like we really know that guy. You know what I mean?
He's gonna come out and flex and, like I said, do his air guitar, wipe a whole towel down his chest and get sweat all over it, and hand it back to a crowd, a fan. They're just gonna like, yeah, I love this. This is the greatest moment of my life. And I'm just like, you sure you want the sweaty towel?
That sweaty towel is everything to them,
bro. They love it. He'll sit there and wipe it all over his face, and they're just like, yeah. I'm like, oh, you sure?
That Tanahashi sweat means a lot.
Yeah, I think that is all of our super chats. No, we don't have any new ones. Last call for super chats before we get out of here.
Yep.
Trying to refresh and make sure we don't have any more Humper chats too.
Last call.
We got two more Humper chats. We got one from Rafael Garcia. He says, I hate to be that guy, and I meant to ask this on Thursday, but I feel like it's gotten out of hand. In your opinion, What is up with these short bush shawty sounding themes? I understand with shots, but after the New Day's new theme, I don't know anymore. Short bush shorty is a hilarious reference. Short bush shorty, short bush shorty, short bush. Yeah,
It's an issue for sure. And WWE specifically, every Royal Rumble, I'm like, dog,
what is this
this
thing,
is
bro?
yeah, what is this? Like, we don't know, we can't even relate half of the songs to the wrestlers. When they redid Finn's song, I was like, what's going on here?
This guy is good friends with West Side Gun. Why can't y'all just license music for this guy? I don't understand.
What's happening here? I don't really understand it. But yeah, Jim Johnston was in the news this week because he said that's just trash too. And like, yeah, we all agree.
I mean, it's ass. I mean, he ain't lying.
He is not lying.
Yeah.
Shoddy.
No, I did not expect that to be in our Humperchats. What a
amazing.
reference, man. Of course, we are not making fun of disabled people. This is it's an internet clip. If you guys have not seen it, for context, just type in "short bush shawty," and I'm sure it will come up on YouTube. From Van Twinblade, he says, "Mania Sunday is on Easter this year. Easter is on 420. Do you think we all enjoy Mania Night 2 if we are elevated? Do you think the crowd will be elevated during the show, or will the feds have them removed? Not Vegas. There's no way you're gonna be able to do that.
Everybody's gonna be so high, Van Twinblade. Of course, me. I'm not gonna be at the show. I'm gonna be so high somewhere. But yeah, everybody's gonna be super high. It's gonna feel different both nights because weed's legal in Vegas regardless. I think both nights are gonna be they're gonna play a role, and it's gonna enhance the show. I was on at WrestleMania 31. I took 2 weed pills, and it was one of my favorite shows I've ever been to. So I expect a lot more of that.
Yeah.
Amazing experience. That was also just a really good show, though. So.
Yeah. That is all of our Humperchats. Appreciate you guys as always for the support. I believe that is all of our super chats as well.
It is.
So this is where we bid you adieu. This has been Grapsody. We will be back Saturday, reporting live from Las Vegas. So we will have an episode next Saturday at our regular scheduled time.
We'll be live.
You can catch us out in these streets somewhere. But yeah, appreciate you guys as always. Go subscribe to our YouTube channel. Buy some merch. You know, the usual plugs. This has been Grapsody. I'm Phil Lindsey. It's Righteous Reg. We are out of here.
Peace.